What it do, baby?
Then there are two places that Kawhi Leonard be willing to sign an extension. I'm going to debunk that myth and tell you there's no two place. There's one place that Kawhi Leonard would sign an extension, and that is Toronto.
After the trade with open arms, man, it made my experience that much better. And like they said, enjoy this moment, and have fun with it.
If you had to pick one NBA player to be a teammate with, who would it be and why?
I'll say it'll be Kawhi Leonard because of the defensive presence that he can bring. I feel like he'll just, and I like to play defense, so it'll just carry over.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Man, I'm amped. I am amped. I was putting my air conditioner in 12 minutes ago, and it was taking a while, and my phone started to buzz, and I looked over at the corner of my eye, and somebody texted me, and I know this person would not text me unless Kawhi Leonard got traded, and I was like, I screamed. I just left the air conditioner where it was, and I was like, let's go. The Toronto Raptors get their man. The Toronto Raptors get the greatest Raptor who has ever played for the Toronto Raptors, the best ever, one of the 50 greatest, 25 greatest, 20 greatest players of all time, Kawhi Leonard, coming off a low-key, close to MVP season. Kawhi Leonard is back. He is in Toronto. Toronto paid a lot to get this done. We're gonna break this. We're gonna break this down. This is not a okay. I don't want to rain on your parade. This is not a home run, okay? This is a calculated gamble on the present and the future with Kawhi Leonard. This is a calculated gamble that in the next 3 years, Toronto can do something with this. There's obviously like a lot of picks that have been involved here. To recap here, what have we said all along? What last night at I think 2 a.m., 1 a.m., we had 1,000 people in here talking about this. What have we maintained? Jacoby Walter is going nowhere. Colin Murray-Boyles is going nowhere. Scotty Barnes, Allen Graves, non-negotiables. Earlier today, there was some notion that the Clippers were asking for sweeteners. Their definition of sweeteners, throw in Jamal Shed, one of the best backup point guards in the league. The Raptors said no. Sometime around 12 o'clock today, I was like, we have a 6-hour deadline, and I wonder who is going to cave. And I'm sorry to tell you, Raptor fans, the team that caved is the Raptors. Now, I want to be clear about something. There's something that's been wrong about this reporting pretty much the entire way through, which is that the Toronto Raptors were only offering one pick. So now this deal sounds like the Clippers fleeced the Raptors for way more than they were offering. Everything that you heard from Clutch Points, Steinlein, Jake Fisher, Shams came from the Clippers side. Everything you heard about the Dallas Mavericks potentially being involved came from the Clippers side. Everything you heard about Detroit came from the Clippers side. The Los Angeles Clippers entered this negotiation with the Toronto Raptors as partners. They have ended this negotiation as adversaries. I want to be clear, and I wrote something out, and I'm going to read it to y'all before we get to this, because I think that it was very well written, despite one person suggesting that it may have been written by ChatGPT. I guarantee you it was not. It was written by a very, very sleepy podcaster. Myself, actually, me. It was written by me as I was trying to fall asleep, with trying to contain my excitement last night. And I want to read this out because it's played out pretty much exactly how I said it would. And to anyone who's followed us, please make sure that the myth and the legend of Penstradamus does not die with me, because there's a lot of people, and I've been kind of holding my tongue because I know it's tacky as hell to go like, hey, I said that 15 hours ago. Hey, I said that 17 hours ago. Hey, you know that thing that you said and I said it was wrong? It turned out to be wrong. Nobody on the planet, nobody on the planet has been more correct. Let me get my only victory lap out of the way here. Nobody on the planet has been more correct about how this deal would break down, what barriers the Raptors were facing, than yours truly. So I'm trying to look, I'm not necessarily trying to be like an NBA newsbreaker, but this story was very close to me. It was very close to people in my circle. And we knew every step of the way that the Toronto Raptors, what they were willing to do and what they were not willing to do. And I maintained very early that the hangup was picks. It was always going to be picks. And if it wasn't going to be picks, the Raptors were going to have to cave in some other monumental way. Where is it? Hang on. What did I write? What did I write? What did I write? Here you go. Okay. Now, this is really, I want to be clear. This is important. Okay. This is very important. And I need y'all to actually pay attention to this entire part. Said, have you ever wondered why Toronto consistently deals with teams like San Antonio and Indiana? This media shitstorm is why. Yes, Toronto, the team whose draft pick hasn't been leaked in almost a decade, is involved in a fairly public bidding war against themselves for Kawhi Leonard. There was no viable competitor for their offers. The Clippers kept trying to drum up offers, and every team balked at the idea of paying Kawhi this money or having him come in on without an extension, and Kawhi kept pushing it. Now, I don't know what would have happened if the Raptors let this dangle until 5:30 p.m. and Kawhi maybe got cold feet and said, oh, I guess the Raptors aren't serious, and he opened up his offers, at which point this entire deal falls apart. You don't get Kawhi Leonard. And both sides are negotiating in what feels like bad faith, quite frankly, because the Raptors obviously very desperately wanted to get Kawhi. They absolutely can look at Brandon Ingram, Kawhi Leonard, they can look at Grady Dick and just say, listen, at some point we might have had to dump Grady Dick with assets attached to get off the money. Okay, that's one part of it. Ingram was not great for the Raptors last year. He served a very functional role, but who was he really replacing? He was replacing Grady Dick. So realistically, the Raptors were very motivated to get this done. MLSE is obviously very, very excited about bringing a hometown legend and an NBA champion. This is what was the entire thing about not getting rid of Pascal, not getting rid of Fred, because so much of MLSE's market and equity in Toronto came because of Kawhi, because of that championship run. You have now brought back the author of that championship run. There is a huge marketability here. And I don't want to say it's anything close to the Raptors chasing Steve Nash well past his prime. Kawhi Leonard is still in his prime. And until further notice, he is still a top 6 player in the NBA. So the Raptors are getting a great player back. The fallout of such trade discussions is the entire roster, especially Grady Dick and Brandon Ingram, going through a week of uncertainty and rumors, right as the Raptors are preparing to get everyone together for Summer League down in Vegas. It begs the question, why? And how did this become so public? Because it's not the Toronto Raptors leaking information to Stein and Fisher. The answer is squarely, this is the Clippers. It is their attempt to involve Dallas, Detroit, Portland, Golden State into this. They've effectively taken the a fairly private affair public, like a petulant child screaming for a toy at Kmart. It is a platitude that the NBA is a business. And to get Kawhi what he wants, the Raptors are engaging in a dangerous game with a partner that very often through this negotiation has acted like an adversary. Trust me, two sides walked away from the table today basically saying, I'm never talking to you again. Get this done and let's get away from each other. What is the Clippers' endgame here? They don't want to pay Kawhi. The Raptors are offering an all-star and a former lottery pick, Deadeye, on your timeline with picks attached. Notice I said picks because that is the first part of the false reporting. All the reporting was the Raptors are only offering 1 first-rounder. That is not true. The Raptors offered 2. The Raptors caved on 2. I don't know where the negotiation started, but it was absolutely at 2 yesterday, and I was convinced that they would have to give up 2 and a swap. They gave up 2 and a swap and 2 second-round picks to sweeten the deal because this dumbass organization apparently needed to feel like they came out on top. But yes, let's engage the Mavericks to push up the price. Let's engage Detroit to see if Kawhi will budge. In many ways, it felt like Kawhi and Toronto are hostages in this negotiation, and Ingram, by proxy, is a casualty of business. Everything says this deal is on schedule. Everything says this deal should come together before free agency begins tomorrow. And it did, 2 hours before free agency. But Steve Ballmer and Lawrence Frank may throw a monkey wrench in the 11th hour, i.e. asking for the swap and the 2 seconds or walking away, not only pissing off Kawhi in the process, but also setting the stage for very awkward relations with Brandon Ingram and the Raptors moving forward. And again, why? Because this is how Microsoft negotiates. This is how big tech works: the bait, the push, the squeeze. Bobby Webster is engaged in a knife fight. I'm going to hope he brought more than a spoon to defend himself. I'm going to be clear. The Raptors did not win this trade. They did not lose this trade. However, they have won. They have lost the battle, but they have won the war. The war is pretty simple. Okay. And I want to be clear about why. I want to be clear about why the Toronto Raptors were trying to keep the picks out of this deal. This is not the end of This is not the end of the offseason for the Toronto Raptors. I want to be clear. Okay. 319 Gift said, you called this since the aspiration scandal video. I'll have to go and revisit that video. Yeah, sure. Trade grades for both teams. I will get to that in a moment. Scotty and Kawhi equals 96 Bulls. More moves coming. Yes, we're going to get to that right now. And R Wade 552 said, hey, Pen, keep up the great work here and on PC. Love that you represent us on here. Keep cooking ox. I remember how lively the city was in 19. What are our chances of repeating that? These are a lot of good questions. These are great super chats. Thank you very much to this community. And by the way, thank you guys for supporting us. Thank you for rocking with us at 2 a.m. Thank you to all the sickos who were with us when we brought on Clippers Talk. We'll have to bring on Clippers Talk again. I don't know if he's watching right now, but shoot me a DM or something, and we'll get you on to get your reaction on this. Okay, so let's answer these super chats one by one. Scotty and Kawhi, the 96 Bulls, are more moves coming. Yes. So the important part of why the Raptors wanted to keep those picks is because they're going for it. You don't trade for Kawhi Leonard and you don't see what you saw from Scotty Barnes and not contend. This is a contender move right now. So if you are somebody who is like, oh my God, did we give up a little too much? Yes, you did. But make up for it. Number one, your team is now fully pushing in to the current core. What Scotty Barnes did in the playoffs, I mentioned it before, okay? From an optics perspective, from a trade value perspective, what you really want in the playoffs against Cleveland is for Brandon Ingram and RJ Barrett to ball out, and you don't care what Scotty does. From an internal focus perspective, from a Scotty, show us what you got perspective, I think Scotty Barnes showed you that he is good enough and this good to be Kawhi's running mate on a championship team. And make no mistake about it, unless Scotty Barnes takes a massive leap, he is officially now the second best player on this team. I have never conceded that Scotty is the second best player on this team over the last 4 years. I said he was better than Pascal, better than RJ, better than Brandon Ingram. Scotty is now your number 2 option. This is firm. If Kawhi is not playing, Scotty can be your number 1 option. Cool. So what this does is it maintains the core. Okay. What are we doing here? What does he have to do with this? We're going to get to that in a moment. Okay, so you know what? Instead of me waxing poetic, let me get to the Shams report here, and we will just momentarily talk about this. 1 second. So where is Shams? Okay, let's bring this up. Let's bring Shams Charania on, and let's see what he had to say about this. Okay, here we go. Pull it up.
How did this deal finally get done? Kawhi going back to Toronto.
Hey, and at the crux of this, Kawhi Leonard had 1 year and $50 million left on his contract, and there was no future for him after this season with the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers failed to give him a contract extension commitment, but multiple other teams out there were pursuing Kawhi Leonard for the last few weeks, were willing to give him an extension, but he only wanted to go to one team and give only one team a contract extension commitment, and that's the Toronto Raptors. Going back to the city that he led to the 2019 NBA championship. He led them to their only championship in franchise history, won finals MVP there. And so there was a preference for Kawhi Leonard to stay in Los Angeles, but once it was made clear that there was no future there, he settled on Toronto as his preferred landing spot. And sources told me there were 3 keys to this. One is the familiarity with the Toronto Raptors organization. We know he spent that 1 year there. He made it very clear that he would leave after just 1 season, but that 1 year, Bobby Webster, the executive vice president of basketball operations, made the trade to go get him with Brian Wright, the Spurs GM, back in 2018. The city of Toronto as well, and the ability now to go to the Raptors and contend in the Eastern Conference, and to be able to say that I ended my career with the Raptors after playing for the Clippers and the Spurs. So I'm told Kawhi Leonard views this as an opportunity to retire in Toronto.
There you go. Okay. So that is the full scope of it. Let's get to the deal particulars. It is a pretty, there's a lot of picks involved here. Okay. So the Toronto Raptors, and this is according to Shams. So Shams is a little bit sloppy about some of his reporting. Don't be surprised if protections and all this stuff comes out. There's very little chance that the Toronto Raptors traded 2 unprotected firsts. If they do, I will dock them severely. But the Los Angeles Clippers are nearing a deal to send Kawhi Leonard to the Toronto Raptors for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, 2 first-round picks, 1 pick swap, and 2 second-rounders. I'm going to just throw this out there. The pick swap is largely meaningless. If Kawhi stays healthy, you're going to be a better team than the Clippers for the foreseeable future. There's almost no chance that the Clippers are outside of the lottery over the next 3 years. Keaton Bogler is a project, a good one, but a project nonetheless. Darius Garland is often injured. Ben Mathurin is a nothing burger. They don't really have much of a team, and Brandon Ingram is not going to climb you out of the West. So to be clear, obviously, in the year that they have a swap, you are playing a little bit of, Russian roulette with your own health. But this is where I think the Toronto Raptors, someone said the trade is not official. Okay, it hasn't been pushed into the league office, but this is done. This is a done deal. This has been basically a done deal for the last hour and a half. So I want to be clear in terms of, getting to the super chat here. So more moves coming. Yes, more moves will be coming. And we will be, obviously, this changes the entire philosophy regarding Mamu Kelishvili, apron stuff, luxury tax. The Toronto Raptors paid the luxury tax bill once. They won the championship that year. It was 2019. Now, this team, as it stands right now, is, okay, here's your projected starting lineup going forward. It is currently Emmanuel Quickley at the 1, RJ Barrett at the 2, Scotty Barnes at the 4, Kawhi Leonard at the 3, Jakob Poeltl at the 5. Off the bench, you will have Colin Murray-Boyles, Allen Graves, Jacoby Walter, Jamal Shed. Do you understand? This is still a really good team, and we haven't added a single free agent to this pot yet. You've also managed to keep Jameson Battle out of this. You've also added Jaden Bradley in the second round, who I think can possibly play for you this year. Now it comes down to the free agents. What do you need? And it also comes down to trades. This is why the Toronto Raptors wanted to keep the picks out of it. From what I understand, the Raptors are happy to move off of picks if it means that they'll get more than just Kawhi. They're trying to hedge their bets a little bit. And I think the rational move here would be to go out and try to get a stretch big, to try and go out and get a backup big who can actually play. Okay, now Colin Murray-Boyles is a fantastic player, but that is still a second-year player. You cannot rely on him necessarily to be a heavy lifter. But I think the Toronto Raptors believe that Allen Graves is going to play sooner rather than later, that Jacoby Walter is about to take a very massive step forward, that Jamal Shed is working on his shooting. I think this accelerates your development curve massively because every single game, you are now walking into next season with title odds. Not good title odds, but you are walking in with actual... The word championship has not been uttered in a Raptors locker room properly, or let's call it legitimately. I'm not talking like a pipe dream, like, Garrett Temple tells Grady Dick, one day you're going to win a championship here. I'm talking legitimate championship expectations have not been in Toronto since 2020. I believe that when Kawhi left, that team internally wanted to go out and try to compete for a championship, which is why they were so good. But realistically, I don't think they had a chance because I don't think Pascal Siakam or OG Anunoby or Fred VanVleet or any of those guys were good enough to win a championship. However, I do believe right now the first word from Scotty Barnes to Kawhi Leonard will be championship. I think that's going to be within the first few sentences. I think this is going to push Scotty immensely. Now, I don't know how much I'm at liberty to say, but no, I don't want to say that. Okay, let me guess. Let me guess. Let me not report. Let me guess. I'm going to guess that Scotty Barnes is very excited and was on board with this. I'm going to guess that. I'm not reporting that. I'm not saying that. But yes, he's very excited about this trade. And I'm just going to throw it up. He's very excited. He's very excited about this trade. And he is going to, obviously, this is going to change everybody's offseason intensity. This is going to change the expectations. You are now walking in with a legitimate chance to go to the NBA Finals next year. Okay. That changes the seriousness of your organization. This also absolutely changes roles, structure. Kawhi Leonard is a very high usage player, very high usage. Now, of course, in the games that Kawhi Leonard will absolutely be load managed by the Toronto Raptors, as is probably planned out. He's probably going to play 60 to 65 games this year. They're going to try to keep him healthy for the playoffs. Those are the games that Scotty Barnes will shift over to the 3 and Colin Murray-Boyles will move over to the 4. It is a perfect fit. Perfect fit. This does mean, however, that Sandro Mamukelashvili becomes a lot more important to the Raptors because I think he fits very well around Kawhi Leonard. It also means that guys like Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, Jakob Poeltl, guys who are not necessarily seen as part of the future vision, now become a little bit more on edge because now you're really looking at those guys and trying to maximize things. I also want to say just internally, I feel like there's a very, very big jump coming from Jacoby Walters. So I also wouldn't be surprised if he can eat up a lot of backup 2 and 3 minutes. You keep Jamison Battle out of this deal. So that's another one. This is a big win for the Raptors. Now, what do you need around this roster? Jonathan Mobo is gone. I believe I was very surprised to see Trace Jackson Davis was not involved in this deal. He might be part of another deal. I don't think the Raptors have much of an interest in keeping him. And now that you've picked up his team option, you're certainly not waiving him. So he's just there as a depth big right now until he gets moved. If he gets moved, Jonathan Mobo, obviously, the contract can be negotiated. You can bring him into Summer League, but chose not to bring him in because the Clippers were not interested in Jonathan Mobo, from what I understand. And again, you're hoping for some development, miraculous development from guys like Elijah Martin, Chucky Hepburn, guys like this who are in the fringy rotation, guys like AJ Lawson may be in play here. I think AJ is a perfectly fine depth wing and, a third string. If you're third string wings, like provided, and now also veterans, this is a serious team now. Okay. It is in the short list of outside of the box thinking contenders right now. If you're looking at the Eastern Conference right now, you're looking at Indiana. I think you're better than Indiana. Yes. I think you're better than Indiana. I'm going to say it with my face. You're better than Indiana right now. You're way better than Indiana. So you got Indiana. I think it is really Boston. You're better than Miami until Miami figures out the rest of their roster. Bam and Giannis are not scaring me when you got Kawhi. Okay. We all know the last time Kawhi and Giannis went up against the playoffs, we know what happened. Okay. So realistically, and we know Scotty likes to lock up Giannis. We know that. Okay. So I'm looking at this is where you're going to make your big bucks. Okay. Now you made your big trade. It's nice. You gave up a little bit more draft capital than I would have liked. I am assuming, now this has not been reported yet, I am assuming that none of these picks are in 2030. Because I swear to God, if the Raptors gave up 2030 and 2032, I'm going to be like, you gave up the moon now. Now, like I'm still going to be happy. As a Raptor fan, Jesus Christ, are we better than the Knicks? No, we are. Y'all are not. Okay. So anyways, stay on that side, Swiper. I appreciate you. You're gonna push that. Swiper, you gonna push that Scotty Barnes propaganda to all the media friends that you got? Because if you do that, it's cool. Siegel said it's a swap in 2030. Okay. So we got this is exactly what I said. Okay, 2027, 2029, and 30 is a swap. Okay. So what did I say yesterday? Literally, we can backtrack. We want to backtrack to what we said yesterday. Okay, here we go. Let's run it back. Is that there is a real apprehension from the Toronto Raptors side to trade any draft pick past 2030. So, and on the flip side, the Clippers want picks after 2030. One framework that the Clippers ideally would want is a 2028 first and a 2031 first, or a 2029 first and a 2031 first. The Toronto Raptors instead are preferring to give them 2027. Now, from the Clippers side, this is a two-pronged calculus on their side. Number one, they want the picks that are further out because Kawhi is getting older. Kawhi just turned 35 today. Happy birthday, Claw. And this would mean that as he edges closer to 38, there's a very good chance that the Raptors could be maybe back in a rebuild. The other part of this that is probably something the Raptors should very much consider is that the current CBA and the current rules around the draft and the draft lottery odds run out in 3 years. So They start next year. So 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030, 2031, 2032, 2033, all these picks that you potentially trade could be very valuable. Okay, I want to be clear. I'm not a dictator, but don't do this shit, Richmatic. No matter what you believe, keep this shit. This is a free country. This ain't a free stream. You keep any Kawhi gonna get injured bullshit. You keep that shit, and you take it. It's about to come out of your mouth. You don't let it come out of your mouth. What you do is you stuff it down past the soul, past the part of your soul that's broken and sad, and just keep it there. We don't talk about Kawhi getting injured right now. We are assuming that Kawhi is going to be relatively healthy, that the Toronto Raptors are going to have a track record of keeping him healthy. We kept Brandon Ingram healthy last year. Okay? We just want to be clear about that. Brandon fucking Ingram. So, please relax. No. I'm sorry, bro. He's not trustworthy. Ungrateful. Johnny A. 4267. I was very wrong. What the is this a done deal? Let's go. Yes, it is. Okay, we had another super chat, which I brought up earlier, and let's actually talk about it right now. Hey, Pen, keep up the great work here and on PC. Yes, we read this. I remember how lively the city was in 2019. What are our chances of repeating that? There is a massive difference between the 2019 team and the current 2026 team. That 2019 knew how to play, was older, was a lot more serious. Right now, you are going to bet that you can accelerate the growth curve of some of the players on your team. You already have, I consider, very mature players. Alan Graves, very mature. Colin Murray Boyles, very mature. And I'm talking about their game. I'm not necessarily talking about their personality. Okay. So you're going to have players who are going to have to grow up very quickly, or they're going to get traded. You are now I want to be clear about one thing. In 2019, you were on Kawhi Leonard's timeline, okay? Or Kawhi Leonard was on your timeline. Now, I'm going to choose my words carefully here. Right now, Kawhi Leonard is on Scottie Barnes' timeline. The difference between the average person who watches the NBA and the Toronto Raptors is believing that the Raptors believe Scotty's time is now. Does that make sense? This is not to say that Scottie Barnes is better than Kawhi Leonard. It is to say that Scottie Barnes is still the most valuable player on this team. He is still the franchise player, if you will. Kawhi is coming here to support him. Even if he is a better player than him, he is still coming to support him. This is still Scottie's team long-term. And they believe that, okay, look, what did Bobby Webster say when the Toronto Raptors got Brandon Ingram last year? Do you remember me complaining about it all year? What did he say? He said, we haven't had a guy like this since Kawhi Leonard. And I found that to be asinine. Why did I find that to be asinine? Because the gap between Kawhi Leonard and Brandon Ingram is the gap between Paraguay and Puerto Rico. It's big. And if you don't know where Paraguay is on the map, well, you can join a lot of the people who are over on the PC chat who don't care where Paraguay is on the map. But that is the gap. It is big. What else did Bobby Webster say last year? Bobby Webster said, Scottie likes to pass. Brandon likes to score. Well, Kawhi also loves to score, and Scottie still loves to pass. This doesn't mean that Scottie's not going to average 20, or that Scottie's not going to take steps forward offensively, or that Scottie is not going to drastically accelerate his offensive curve. If you remember, when I interviewed Scottie Barnes' trainer, and we talked about, like, if you could lock him in a gym with one player, who would you pick? Who would be the one player that you would pick to lock Scottie Barnes in a gym with? He picked Kevin Durant. That was his pick. He said, Kevin Durant. Of course, Kevin Durant. I immediately thought, yeah, or Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard. This is exactly who Scottie should be modeling his game after. It's exactly who Scottie should learn how to play off of 2 feet from. This is exactly who Scottie Barnes, frankly, needs to adopt the approach of, because this is a guy who, frankly, did I just close the screen? My bad. Okay, let me pull this up again. This is a guy who, frankly, pull this up here. This is a guy who I think had a foundational impact on his younger teammates, OG, Pascal, Fred, These guys, they've spoken about it on podcasts. Kawhi Leonard. So Kawhi Leonard is not here to be a babysitter. Kawhi Leonard is not here to wait for, Alan Graves and Colin Murray Boyles to grow up. No, everybody is moving towards the same timeline. And the timeline right now is the next 3 years. The Raptors are squarely focused on the next 3 years. And that is 3 cracks at it. And every year you pass, every year your odds go down. So what you're banking on is that Scottie keeps getting better and Kawhi keeps getting a little bit worse. And that somewhere between there still exists one of the 3 best duos in the NBA. So as Scottie and Colin Murray Boyles and Alan Graves and all these guys, they keep getting a little bit better, Kawhi can continue to take a step back. Kawhi's game is not based on Twitch. He is not an undersized guy by any means. If you watch LeBron James at 37, 38, if you watch Steph Curry at 37, 38, these all-time greats, they do not age in the same way that everybody else does. Now, obviously, I'm not suggesting that Kawhi is going to turn back the clock defensively and be who he was in 2017, but he didn't even do that in 2019. I don't think people realize. You didn't see Kawhi's best season in Toronto. You might have seen his 7th or 8th best season. Do you remember that? Let me tell you something, friends. 2019, Kawhi Leonard minus the playoffs. So regular season Kawhi, remember that dominant shooter, remember the dominant defender, all that he was. That is not even scratching the surface of the player he became a couple of years later for the Clippers. That is not even scratching the surface of the second best player in the NBA playing for the San Antonio Spurs. Why is this guy so underrated? I don't understand. I genuinely don't get it. I understand Raptor fans love him because he delivered the shot in the championship, but do you actually understand the quality of player you brought into your organization right now? Do you understand the quality of competitor you've brought into your organization, the quality of worker you've brought into your organization? Kawhi Leonard maybe a lot of things. He has never been accused of being lazy for a second in his life. He is a hard worker. He cares about winning. He cares about basketball. I have always defended Kawhi as the media allegations have come up against him. His camp is one thing. Aspiration is another thing. But the man, when people were sitting there saying like Kawhi Leonard doesn't care about basketball, Kawhi Leonard doesn't care about playing, my God, what a ridiculous thing. This is a guy who was a great teammate in his time in Toronto. He was a great leader, even though the Spurs were swearing from the mountaintops, he's not a leader, he's not a leader. And what was Kawhi's very, very high road response to that? When you haven't been there for a while, I guess they forget how you lead. And the Spurs went through hell until they got Wemby. Dr. Risenton saying, we need Day'Ron Sharpe. Nah, it's not going to happen. Would be great, but that's not going to happen. James Dean, I appreciate that you want people to see what you're saying, but if you want people to see what you're saying, please stop caps locking or I'm going to have to remove you or time you out. It's very annoying because as a general rule of thumb, when we are in a stream or in a room, let's just active. Like if what we're doing was done by everybody else, would the world be a better place? If everybody started spamming all caps, I think this would be unreadable. So I understand that you're trying to stand out, but just, spend $2 and I promise I'll read your super chat. I'm not asking you to send super chats. I'm just saying if you're so desperate to have your point be read, I will happily read it for you, but just do it the right way. Cool. Swipe a cam. Man, stop it. Are you tempting me to ban you? Because, we might work together, but yeah. Ban Swiper. No, Swiper is a friend. I will not ban Swiper. I have a lot of empathy for Swiper after dealing with what the kind of bullshit I dealt with today. So listen, y'all are instigators. I'm not banning Swiper. I might ban you. I'm not banning Swiper. Anyways, so Swiper has come back to earth on the caps lock and said, friends don't ban friends. There you go. Someone said, let Swiper call in. Well, if Swiper wants to call in, he can definitely call in, but we're not taking call-ins from the general public just yet. But I'll drop this link for you, Swiper, if you want to call in. You want to let Raptor fans know what's up. Listen, I genuinely think that the Raptors have a 3-year window here. I think the pieces that they have, the young pieces that they have, are defensively focused and very serious. And I think you need to appreciate what you just did here. You've gotten rid of a so-so to weak defender in Brandon Ingram. You got rid of the worst defender on your team in Grady Dick. Okay. And what did you get back? You got back one of the best defenders still in the NBA, one of the best team defenders, system defenders, one of the best gap defenders, one of the best rebounding wings in the NBA. This is a lights out shooter, a lights out shot creator. I understand. I'm preaching to the choir here. Everybody knows how good Kawhi Leonard is. But do you actually know how good Kawhi Leonard is? Because I swear to God, last year, people were saying Brandon Ingram is like Kawhi Leonard. And that is what lets me know you don't understand how good this guy is. He is extremely good. Extremely good. He is one of the best isolation scorers. I call him phone booth scorers. Like he doesn't need 2 inches of space to get his shot off. It's clean and it's a technique. And you know who can learn from that? Jacoby Walter. You know who else can learn from that? Colin Murray Boyles. You know who else can learn from that? Scotty Barnes. And every player on this team who has basically looked up to him. Do you know how much Kawhi is a part of this channel's DNA? Okay, give me a W in the chat if you have seen this background that's on my. Do you see the background that's on my page? You see it? Do you guys see this? Just give me W if you've seen this for a couple of years now. You've seen this for a couple of years, right? I'm going to remove myself off the screen and I'm going to show you what this background actually is. Scotty Barnes, my favorite player, right? There's only 2 players who really appear twice in this entire thing. So this little red jersey that you always see beneath me, and I'm always covering it up, that's Kawhi Leonard. That's loyalty. Thank you. That is loyalty. That is called never selling. That is called being grateful. That is called being appreciative. And this is not grateful like, American media are going to troll this. They're going to troll this. I already see the takes. I know the takes. I don't even need to read my timeline to know that, oh my God, Kawhi is bending the Raptors over backwards. Kawhi is doing this. People have always misunderstood this man. I know one of my really good friends is Kawhi's high school coach. I've known so much about Kawhi over the years, which is just crazy to me. But I don't think people understand that this guy's a really good dude. I don't think people understand that he's a really good teammate. I don't think people understand that he's really funny. I don't think people understand that he actually is a very intense practice player. The way the Toronto media reported around Kawhi and how the American media, it's like the Raptors coddled him and he was like not working. And even the Pablo Torre thing, like, oh, it's just good old Kawhi, no show job. Ha ha ha. His Clippers contract was a no show job. He never shows up. People don't like Kawhi. A lot of people don't like Kawhi. The media doesn't like Kawhi. But he's a fun guy. He's a fun guy.
Yeah, come on, Kawhi. Welcome home, Kawhi. Welcome home. Scotty, Kawhi, RJ Barrett, Jakob Poeltl. Man, wow. Jamal Shead still here. This is a great day. This is a phenomenal day to be a Toronto fan. Y'all know how I feel about Scotty. And now this is true. Y'all know how I love me some Kawhi Leonard. I had him first team all NBA this last year. The fact that we're getting Kawhi Leonard next to an ascending Scotty Barnes. I love this for Toronto fans. I'm very happy for you all. This is going to be a great season. Now, I don't know if it's going to end up being a title, but it doesn't matter. Toronto's going to be competitive. Scotty's going to have somebody next to him to go to war with when he's out playing Donovan Mitchell and James Harden in the playoff series. They don't get beat, even though having a lead in the series. This is going to be phenomenal. I can't wait to see it. Penn, I know you're happy. You called it. You said they weren't going to give up a pick past 2030. Now, this is where the fun begins. You want to talk about going to war? You know how I feel about Kawhi. You know how I feel about Kawhi the last couple of years. Now you get to go to war with Kawhi Leonard, and you got Scotty, and you got that defense. Wow. This is a great day. It's a great day to be a Canadian. Number one, shout out to Canada. Oh, Canada. It's a great day to be a Raptors fan, and it is a great day to be a Kawhi fan. You're going back home where you were a missionary in 2019 and brought joy and gold to the Toronto Raptors, and now you got board man again. For,
you know what today is?
Think a great package, by the way. Great.
Do you know what today is?
What's today?
It's Canada Day.
It's Canada Day. Do I know that? Is there a history behind this?
Yeah, it's like independent. It's like Independence Day for you guys, right?
Okay. Wow. Think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it. Kawhi, brother. I know because you're being like mellow.
It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow, but like it's Canada Day. He's going to show up in Canada tomorrow for Canada Day.
I'm not caught up on Canada Day. I'm going to learn now. But Penn, you're being very like contained, and I get it. You know, you're doing your job. I would be like, if they trade for JB, I'm gonna be contained today, right? It's my job. But Kawhi, I think Kawhi is a different kind of figurehead and a different kind of basketball player. He is. You hope Scotty becomes this kind of a player, right? Like if Scotty at his best becomes a top 5-6 player, that's like he exceeds expectations. Like in 2021 when he drafted, I said he can be a superstar. This is like
I think a lot
Brunson.
a lot of people didn't watch Kawhi last year. You watched Kawhi a lot last year because he plays in your conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I heard from a lot of Raptor fans that Kawhi basically doesn't play. He's not reliable. He's over the hill.
Yep.
I want to debunk that myth right now because, again, I'm excited. I'm obviously excited because I understand the quality of player we brought in. I want to show people a little bit of how Crafted NBA sees Kawhi Leonard. Now, there's a very, very nasty, very disingenuous discussion about analytics on Player's Choice yesterday, but I just want to show you like the type of player you got. And I promise you nothing like this has existed on this team since Kawhi left. And, Scotty Barnes has a long way to go to be a 99th percentile offensive player. What is it that specifically makes Kawhi so special here is, frankly, he is a 98th percentile guy in terms of shot quality. He gets to the line. He is an incredible rebounder. He is still at this stage very active in the gaps. He is not the lockdown defender that we saw in San Antonio for sure, but there's still plenty of versatility positionally. He can still, in a pinch, guard a big man. He can offer some resistance there. He can tag, a roller. He can disrupt the passing lanes. He can block a shot at the rim. He can maybe even lock up certain guards for a couple of seconds and give the help time to scram back into it. There's also just a stability with Kawhi. You're not throwing a pass like too close to him, right? It changes the angles. And when you also have Scotty Barnes there, I think everyone is looking at this on the offensive end. I don't think people understand how good this could be defensively, especially with how much Colin Murray-Boyle showed, in the playoffs. Like that dude is legit beast. Last year, I said Colin Murray-Boyles is the best Raptors rookie defender I've ever seen in my life. Better than Scotty, better than Pascal, better than Marcus Camby, better than anybody. I've never seen a guy like that. So for him to do that as a rookie, now Allen Graves coming in, he's a hella disruptive defender coming in off the bench. Jamal Shed is like absolutely pesky. We saw that 8-second violation that we forced, in Cleveland. And I think Jacoby Walter is a great, great defender. And also Jacoby on draft night, who do you compare your game to? Kawhi Leonard, Scotty Barnes, high school Scotty Barnes. Who is your dream teammate to play with? Kawhi Leonard. So as I said yesterday, you got a whole bunch of Kawhi stands on this team. And you got wingspan, bro. You got all hands, all wingspan on this team. Vision 6'9" is finally alive.
Yeah, this first synergy last year, Kawhi Leonard was at 1.09 points per jump shot, 1.16 on catch and shoot. It's like he's a phenomenal jump shooter, is one of the best in the NBA. When it came to guarding jump shots last year, he was also really good defensively, held teams far below expected. And he spent a lot of times off the ball, like defending a lot of closeouts and all that, which is great. I think Kawhi Leonard is a very active and engaged defender, and I think he
at different points in time will bring that energy to the floor, depending on the game situation and depending on where he is in the season. But like, you get the Minnesota Timberwolves game, you get the Detroit Pistons game last year. He is a unbelievable level shot maker. And I think one of the things I was trying to communicate to people last year, like if you look at Data Baller, I know there's a lot of conversation about it. Per Data Baller, the five best players in the NBA in order yet last year were Jokic, Wemby, Kawhi, then Shea and Giannis. And so if you look at like some of the Darko stuff on just his overall impact and the swing that he was having for the Clippers this last season, I mean, he was in every sense of the word a superstar, and everything that they wanted and needed from him last year, he did. And then if you look at the last 45 games of the year, he averaged 28.6 rebounds, 4 assists, but he shot 39% from three on 7 attempts a game, which means mostly pull-ups, mind you, 51% from the field, and obviously he's a terrific free throw shooter. He was an MVP candidate all season. I think the issue is he didn't finish with the recognition because of their record. But had it just been like, who's the best player in the world, who are the MVP candidates based on just level of play, I mean, he would have finished top 5, maybe even top 4. I think there were stretches last year where he was better than Luka Doncic as well. I mean, he was terrific. And I think that getting him this year and having him play in this system is going to be world-changing for the Raptors. And I'm really curious to see how Darko uses him as well.
How do you let's contextualize this number right here, because this is last year Kawhi Leonard. No filtration of season segments, which is the whole year. In 1,926 minutes, Kawhi Leonard led the Clippers to a 121.7 offensive rating. Can you contextualize that in terms of like league standard? How good an offensive rating is that? I mean, it's so much better than anything the Raptors sniffed, but.
Yeah, I mean, no, you obviously, this is where you got to give credit to James Harden, right? Like him and Harden were the reason why they were doing that. And, Harden did a great job last year when they were struggling to get Kawhi going because of coming off like, just a slower start and some injuries and everything. Harden did a great job, I think, managing. And when they got off to what was that, the 4-15 record or whatever else it was, like, yeah, Kawhi did start off slow last year. So
yeah, but I mean, like here are the solo star numbers. Like I understand together they had a plus 6.1, but Kawhi without Harden actually had a better net rating, slightly lesser offensive rating, but way better defensive rating. So this is, I think, the trade-off with James Harden is like sometimes he's a little bit of an inconsistent defender. But I think it's very easy to argue that I think for a couple of weeks, months, I would argue that James Harden and Kawhi Leonard were like kind of co-stars. But I think after a little while, it became very clear like Kawhi was.
Well, I think if I was you, bro, the where I'd be leaning into is the last 36 games of the year before, because if you remember when Kawhi came back from that injury, and then they had all of their pieces. This is Zubac, playing at an All NBA level. This is Harden going crazy. This is Chris Dunn, all defense worthy play. When they were healthy, that last 36 games of the year, they had, I think, the best offense in the NBA, at least a second, and they had the best defense over the Thunder for that last stretch of the season as well. So I also think some of this is like if Kawhi Leonard getting a healthier version of the team that he's going to have this next season, and I think having Jacoby, obviously, having RJ Barrett, having Jakob, if Mamu obviously comes back, having Scotty next to him, having Jamal Shed, that defense should be able to give him a lot of breaks. And I think just because of the possession battle that they should be able to win, you just imagine, Kawhi on a per 75, there's a world where he's going to be at like 28 points per game on like uber efficiency. But a lot of this is like the kind of coverages that he will see having a predominant driver like Scotty Barnes next to him and some of the shooters and stuff that they'll be able to add to the roster as well. So, I mean, this is just terrific fit. Like I legitimately think this is like a title swing for the Raptors.
I mean, it definitely is. And I mean, okay, like some people are clearly concerned about the picks. I am not necessarily going to be gung-ho about like the idea that if we did in fact trade these picks as unprotected, 2027 is next year. I'm not too worried about that pick. 2029 unprotected is tough. 2030 swap isn't that tough because I expect the Clippers to still be pretty bad historically. But there is a world in which the Raptors gave up Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, 2 seconds, potentially a mid-first rounder next year, and potentially 2 lottery picks if this Kawhi thing goes wrong. And lottery picks with no protections are scary as hell because it could literally become the first overall pick. It's why people were really upset with, the Pelicans last year. How dare you trade an unprotected pick for, Derek Queen? right? Because, and I mean, okay, you played a little bit of roulette there, and it landed 8th, and people aren't that upset. But give me Kingston Flemings over Derek Queen any day of the week. So these types of trades, I understand some people get. I think there needs to be a balanced approach to this. On the one hand, did the Raptors give up a little bit too much on pick equity? Yes. On the other hand, did the Clippers kind of have the Raptors by the balls once this whole thing became very public? Yeah. Because where do you go from here? If you don't complete this, if you're the Clippers, you can always pivot. You can take less from somebody else despite the Raptors. You can call their bluff. What are you going to do? What is Kawhi going to do if the Raptors back away? Is he going to not extend? He's going to find another suitor. The Raptors had leverage until 6 p.m. After that point, I think the way this deal was going, it was if the Raptors back away from this, then Kawhi has to find another team that's willing to extend, at which point you can open up the bidding war, which is where the Clippers wanted to negotiate. The Clippers wanted this to become a 5-team bidding war where they could drum up the value. Now, they kept trying, and Kawhi, to his credit, held firm. He's like, nope, Toronto only. I'm not extending in Dallas. I'm not extending in Detroit. I'm not extending in Boston. Don't send me there. I won't do it. I did it once. I won't do it again. I think that the Raptors maybe gave up 15% too much. There's a way to make up for it, obviously, because, if you believe in the young players on this team, Jacoby Walter, Alan Graves, Colin Murray Boyles, if you believe in these guys, if you genuinely believe that your scouting was right, if you believe that Jamal Shed is going to really materialize, if you believe that you have, a very good scouting department that is capable of finding second-round gems, I mean, you're now without a first-round pick next year. If you believe that assets that currently exist on your team might be able to fetch you additional value, like an RJ Barrett expiring. Could an RJ Barrett expiring get you a first-round pick from a team that maybe has 2 years left on their, a different deal, and you can get one of those picks back? That's possible, right? How do you think, where do you think the Raptors go from here? Because I'm looking at this roster, and it's very good, but it's not complete. Jakob Poeltl has commonalities with Ivica Zubac. Zubac's better. But Yak and Zubac, it's not the worst thing. And also, by the way, Jakob Poeltl is the only player that Kawhi Leonard on this team has ever played with. Shout outs to him. So in terms of filling out the rest of the roster, the depth chart as follows right now is Jakob Poeltl at the 5, Scotty Barnes at the 4, which I don't love Scotty having to play the 4, but whatever. Scotty will play backup 3, backup 2 when Kawhi's not in the game.
I mean, having 2 tweeners, though, he just becomes Jason Tatum for the Raptors, though. Essentially.
In a sense, yeah. But also, Kawhi, unlike Ingram, can actually slide over to the 2 occasionally as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you have that optionality within your lineup that if you really wanted to go Colin Murray Boyles at 4 and, I don't know, a stretch big at 5, if you were to able to acquire a stretch big, then realistically you could play Scotty, Kawhi, and CMB together with a stretch big and with Emmanuel Quickley. Someone said Kawhi never played with Yak. I apologize. I'm stupid. Yes, they traded him for him. My bad. Yes, that is my mistake. It was DeLon Wright who played half a season. So yeah, I'm looking at this like this is going to come down to what else you're going to do. And what else you're going to do is smart veteran signings and your mid-level exception. And obviously, you don't do this deal if MLSE does not give you the green light that you are going to go into the luxury tax and you're going to pay to play. So at this point, free agents out there, I'm looking at Nicholas Batum, Bogdanovich, Robert Williams just got signed up. Jock Londale is off the table.
I think you might be able to take 2 of those names off the list, at least one of them.
Did he just get signed? Or he's about to get signed?
No, but they could be. They both could be, but one of them for sure might be.
How do you feel about Marvin Bagley?
Yeah, I mean, Marvin, you asked one of my coworkers, Marvin Bagley would be a great fit, especially given like what he actually does, like the shooting, the rebounding, the defensive rim protection, and all the stuff that he offers. And he's cheap and he's young. So you get cheap, young, and athletic with some offensive viability as well, with some touch. So I think that'd be a good fit for a player like I think of that caliber for that amount of money. I think that the Emmanuel Quickley, Kawhi Leonard, Scotty Barnes, Colin Murray Boyles, Jacoby Walters, Jamal Shed, Jamison Battle and all that, like that to me is going to be the true core. Jakob is, as much as I like him, like he probably more of a backup big at this point. I think, similarly to kind of Luke Cornett, but I think he's like he's better in some ways than Luke Cornett, but I just think Jakob has some functionality issues, but I still think he can be really valuable. He's not like a high-end rim protector like Zubac, and he doesn't have that offensive touch. But if I'm the Raptors, I don't know how they would do it or what it would be, but I would absolutely be seeing, like, what's the market for RJ Barrett, because I would want a actual two guard, I think, next to these two, especially with Kawhi and with Scotty. I know Emmanuel quickly might be somebody else that's on the board, but again, $32 million a year, who's going to take that contract? What's the kind of player that you get back in that? But RJ, I think, is making, 25 right now? Is that 29. What it is? 29? Yeah, and I think teams would be more willing to give up something. If I would at least be entertaining the conversation, because if I could get a two guard that is like, just a more reflective, traditional sense, like a player in that spot, I think that would help a little bit, because I think next to Kawhi and Scotty, and especially the way that Kawhi gets covered, he is going to get a lot of gap help. And, when you play versus Kawhi, when his jumper is going, he doesn't matter, because at that point, like, he's beating everything. But like when he's kind of at his average, he's going to get a lot of coverages that are leaning his way, where you basically got 5 people with a foot in the paint. Right. And then at that point, it's kind of like, if you got a weak side shooter, in the corner somewhere. Honestly, y'all, Tim Hardaway Jr. might be available for the right amount of money. Even like a Duncan Robinson, like, not saying that player, but like a player of that archetype, that where you can just have
Miami is calling all shooters,
right?
Like, calling everybody. If Malik Monk wasn't going to prison, he'd be going to Miami. So, you look at that and you're like, okay, Mo Wagner, okay, like someone who can shoot a little bit, rebound a little bit, give you a little bit of depth on the back on the back end in case Allen Graves isn't ready. Sign and trade for Norman Powell. I'm not sure we have the pieces to make it work. We definitely don't have the pieces to make it work under the cap for the
Heat. Don't have the money either.
Exactly. It's going to be creative. Like, they're going to have to get very creative. I think, like, Mamu is probably gone. I think there's so many teams that need that skill set.
Doc Londale just got $14 million on 1 year.
Yeah, but that's as an expiring.
Yeah,
he took a 1 year, but that's trade fodder. Like, I know how NCAA works. Like, they're going to trade him. So that's just salary ballast to get up to the floor, because they're well under the cap, and I guess they don't have any plans on using it. So I'm looking at, and I mean, like, this is why people don't understand, like, salary structure, right? The Raptors signed Brandon Ingram to a 3-year deal. They traded him 1 year into that deal because salaries, right? You rehab the value of an all-star. And I think some people maybe aren't completely realizing Brandon Ingram has not been healthy the last 5 years. It's been a lot of injuries. Last year, forget about how it ended, because it ended with him in a walking boot. But for the most part, that was the healthiest year he's had in ever. Like, since his rookie season, I think he hasn't been that healthy. So some people would say, oh, it's him getting out of the Pelicans.
Somebody said Jordan Poole. He is making that money with Emmanuel quickly. But then the flop is, like, you can make an argument Jordan might be a better offensive player, but defensively that would put them in a little bit of a bind as well. But if maybe you also don't need to have 5 players that could, play defense as well. Like, it might also help that we have 4 that are really good, and then you get a Jordan Poole, especially when he gets hot. That could fit, but, like, honestly, like, I'm cool with Emmanuel. Like, I don't hate it, I don't love it. I'm not a huge Emmanuel Cookie fan, but either one of those players I'd be willing to see, like, hey, what is the reasonable package that we could get back, even if we can break that contract up a little bit, because I think the core of the team is clear to me. The 3 that make up the core are Kawhi, even though he's a short-term core, Scotty, and then Colin Murray-Boyles. Like, those are your premium.
Well, you'll be happy to know Jacoby Walter is in that discussion. They held him very firmly out of these deals.
Yeah.
In fact, the thinking on this is it would have, if they had thrown Jacoby Walter, they could have waived possibly 2 first-round picks out of this. It takes a lot of faith to believe in a guy 2 first-round picks worth. Okay, so the Clippers obviously wanted him. Everyone wants him. He feels a need, but I think the Raptors, from everything I've heard, are very impressed with him. They see a big role for him coming up in the next couple of years, that he's going to step into this vacant hole once RJ Barrett steps out of it.
Yeah,
I don't know if you extend RJ without seeing how this thing goes, but also, like, playing this out with RJ with an expiring, like, it's weird.
Well, I mean, he can get a contract extension, but I'm giving him very much a Josh Giddey treatment, because I just don't think in a vacuum like that piece of worth that much for the NBA. I think if you can get him around 2025, probably 25, then I'm fair to do that. But I think I'm also looking at a short term. I want flexibility if I'm the Raptors. Like, that's cool. You're a good player, but I also I want to make sure that I'm maintaining as much of the ability as possible to say we can get off of this player, but they're in our building, and if the other team is interested, it's not going to hamstring their salary cap. So maybe a 3-year deal worth 25. Now the issue is that in Charlotte, I think Kobe White got like a 3-year $74 million deal. So you would obviously have to work through that a little bit, like what that number would like. Maybe it's a 3-year 90. But again, I know Raptors fans, that might not be the most comfortable thing, because RJ has played good basketball for you, and you obviously traded a good bit in order to, in your core, to get him into the building. But I also think, what is RJ's ceiling? Like, is he like the kind of player that's like your third best player that you think can, be all the things that you need? Maybe.
I think Kawhi and Scotty and CMB and he's your only weak link now defensively. He's the only one, and he tries. That's the bonus. He shows up in the playoffs. He hits his open catch and shoots. He's never going to be more open than he's going to be this year. Playing off of Scotty and Kawhi, do you know how much defensive attention is going to be on those two guys? Mm-hmm. RJ is going to be free to float. He's an excellent mover in space. I actually understand the rationale for keeping RJ Barrett now, because you actually have a championship core here that you can go forward with. Now, I understand people are not willing to put the Raptors. This is kind of like a show it to me. Show me how good Scotty Barnes can be next to, I can't trust it until I see it work. But in theory, this works. The Raptors launched themselves because, and again, this is all comes down to how high you are on Kawhi and how low you are on Ingram. If you believe, as I do, and as you do, that Kawhi, where do you have Kawhi? Top 6 player in the NBA? Top 7?
I mean, yeah,
when everyone's healthy.
5, he was top 5 in the regular season last year, but
Giannis didn't play, Tatum didn't play. Is he better than Tatum? Do you think he's better than Tatum?
I think he was in 24, but I'm saying now, whatever this next version of Tatum is, maybe not, but his shot making is better. But I think Tatum's defensive versatility is obviously what, and his playmaking, he's a much better playmaker than Kawhi. And I mean, not like Kawhi has a lot of scoring gravity, but I think it's what Raptors fans will remember or see again. Kawhi is not a high level passer, and he does not process the game as a passer.
He's
super
functional.
Well.
He's functional. He doesn't
Sure.
Look, okay, there's obviously I consider generational playmakers like Nikola Jokic. Okay, this is a level that is not Kawhi. Obviously, it's not even Scotty Barnes yet. Then there are willing playmakers and really high-end playmakers like Scotty Barnes, right? Not Jokic, not Tyrese Halliburton, but notch down, great playmakers, consistently looking to play for others. Then there are, I consider, confused passers, guys who don't really know when to pass, when to score. And then there are guys who are just non-passers. I consider Kawhi like a non-passer or an unwilling passer, and I'm perfectly fine with it. If his offensive efficiency, this is a guy who shot 40% from 3 last year. This is a mid-range demon. This is a guy who finishes incredibly well around the rim. This is a guy who has relentless gravity and is able to score over double teams in a phone booth. This is not a guy that I want passing the basketball. No, sorry, Kawhi. Go score. Well, this is what I want him to do.
You just want him functionally when he's playing versus these, which is, I've said this for years, by the way. When Kawhi plays versus these bigger wings with the gap help, and he has size and strength on him, because Kawhi, he is extremely quick. He's a great ball handler, and he's very strong. But when he plays against other people that are also very quick and very strong, which is why, versus Denver, for instance, he struggled as much as he did, because Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon, Christian Brown, whoever you want to throw into that mix, Jeremy Grant back in the day, when he saw those players with help, he would really struggle to process, and he couldn't get his shot off to the same degree. But the difference is that I think of Kawhi on this team, in this conference in particular, if you do try to play him that way, I think Scotty does a great job, even if it's off just a simple back cut or just moving towards the basket, and then you're pre-rotating off of that, then RJ's coming up or Emmanuel Quickly's coming in to get the ball. You still have opportunities to really do some special things. Now, Kawhi he can throw lobs. He doesn't do it a whole lot, but Colin Murray-Boyles, he continues to develop. There are some outlets, I think, with the Raptors that I think are going to help a lot.
Darko Rajakovic is the sneaky sauce in this situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is, first of all, even when the Raptors were without Brandon Ingram, they had one of the top 3-4 shot quality indexes in the entire league. They got clean shots. They just didn't know how to make them because the wrong people were taking them and they didn't have enough shooting talent. Flash forward last year, the Raptors shot quality remains very high. Ingram, in fact, in many ways, dragged it down by taking a lot of midi isolation, possessions that weren't necessarily efficient. I think Kawhi possessions are always efficient, almost always. Now, if he gets bogged down, it's largely because of him not processing the read, or probably because of spacing and situations in Clipperland weren't exactly like he was playing with a bomb squad. He's not playing with Stephen Clay out there, okay? Like, he's not playing with maximized space either. There's a post up big in the way. There's often a wing who isn't being guarded. So I think that the Raptors' number one goal right now will be, how do we make it so that Scotty Barnes is the only non-shooter that we play with Kawhi on a regular basis, right? And I don't even think Scotty's a non-shooter. I think he's going to work on that catch and shoot all day, because now he knows they're going to be wide open and he's going to have to make them. Scotty came out, in year 3 and shot 41% from 3 for like a good stretch of games, playing off of Pascal and OG, largely because the shots were open, right? A couple of years ago, the efficiency tanked because they weren't so open. Last year, efficiency went back up, not necessarily from 3, but overall, because Ingram drew a lot of energy, a lot of defensive attention. And I think that if Ingram is able to draw 2x, then Kawhi is able to draw 7x in terms of, presence, attention, shift from the defense, opening up. And Scotty's a very intelligent cutter. And Darko, I think his offense facilitates better looks. And if Kawhi can buy into being a finisher in that offense, as opposed to a creator in that offense, I think he's going to thrive. Now, Kawhi chose this. He chose this place, right? Some people would have you believe he only chose it because it's the only team that's willing to pay him. I know that that's cap. It's not true. It's not the only team that was willing to pay him. Okay. In a league where so many players are getting paid $60 million, there's no chance in hell that Detroit was not willing to pay him, that Golden State was not willing to pay him before they shifted over to this, backup contingency plan, which is Anthony Davis and LeBron James. There are plenty of teams that are willing to pay him. Jimmy Butler was traded at $60 million. Kawhi is a way better player than him. So I just think that, Raptor fans who are crashing up, I want to talk to you about one last thing before you get out of here, because I do want to get to some other callers, but I want to ask you about the business side of this. This is huge, right? From a marketing standpoint. Now, this is just me reading the tea leaves. I did not make content for the Toronto Raptors before 2020, which means I missed the boom. I missed the championship parade. I missed the championship run. I missed those. And what I did when I started making content in the Raptor space is I looked back on the views. I looked back on the comments, how many likes those videos got. There were content creators who are currently today lucky to muster 5,000 views for a video that were getting 30,000 to 40,000 views on every video they posted. They could literally post an update on what Kawhi ate for breakfast, and they were getting 30,000 views on it. What does this do for the ecosystem of Toronto Raptors basketball in terms of A, bringing back a franchise legend who won a championship, B, all the pieces that feed off the system? Now, I tried to explain this to people, but you're probably even better at explaining this because you're part of the system over in Denver, right? The Nuggets are the basketball team, but the media, the bloggers, the podcasters, the guys who make merch, these guys, everything outside of the Nuggets is like part of the Nuggets ecosystem. So when the Nuggets are doing well, when the Nuggets grab a big piece, when the Nuggets trade for a franchise player, when the Nuggets bring back a franchise legend, Nuggets make a championship run, the whole thing rises. So what does Kawhi mean for Toronto?
Well, I mean, Toronto has the access of being you have an entire nation behind you. So I don't even know what those numbers would look like if like I had a nation of people behind me, because, supporting one team. Whenever you get a superstar, you're going to get a boon. This episode is going to have a boon. It's like the same thing whenever you get money. Like, you just have more access than you would have had previous. And so I think a lot of this is, the more you brand yourself, and any Toronto Raptors creator that's watching this, when you associate yourself with the player in marketing, it tends to take your overall value up. When you associate yourself with a large brand, which is like the Toronto Raptors are a massive brand, like the more popular you get by how closely associated you are to that. So you getting Kawhi, and then as the Raptors are winning, and then when you're doing post games, like when you're constantly there, when you're reporting on all the trades, all the free agency stuff, the more people trust you that you're going to be there and be available, then the better things will work out for you in the long run. So, I mean, this is literally like the perfect time to like get involved with basketball. And as you know very well, like when you are consistently making content and you have a player like Kawhi in the building, it does change the weight of the check that you are collecting. And that's just the nature of, the business, right? Like, you want to make sure that you're always well positioned to do that. And also just, for the audience is thirsting for more, because now they have more things they want to see and more information they want to hear about, and they have more they want to complain about. If they lose or things don't go well, they have more that they want to talk about if things do go well. So I just, maximizing everything is important, like everything.
I don't know if I'm uniquely bearish. You've told me once I need to go get therapy. But the truth is, like, the entire Kawhi season, the lone season in Toronto, I have to tell you, I knew he was leaving. It just felt like I didn't think they would win a championship. I can't be Penstradamus on that shit. I didn't think it would be. I knew they had a chance, but I was like, no, it can't happen for us. Kawhi's leaving. This is a one-year rental, et cetera, et cetera. And then that championship parade felt so bittersweet, because he got on stage and he said, just enjoy this moment, have fun with it. And it was just like, goodbye, Kawhi. I know a goodbye when I hear a goodbye. And what I don't think that Kawhi knew at that time, and I wonder if his decision-making would have at all changed, is what was waiting for him on the next year. Because it's after you win a championship, it's the process of building up that equity with the fan base, getting all those non-believers to finally turn on a basketball game and be like, oh man, this Kawhi Leonard #2, he's amazing. So what he left on the table was literally legend status in this entire country. He would have gone down, I'm not going to say Wayne Gretzky, but he would have gone down in this country as like on the pantheon of athletes in Canadian sports. Like, we're talking Terry Fox, Wayne Gretzky. A basketball player could have ascended to that level because Canadians care about winning. They care about grit. They care about toughness. They care about defense. They care about that stuff. And instead, he left it all, went to LA. Some people are still bitter about it. They'll cry. They'll get over it. They'll fuck off, But my view on this is pretty simple. What Kawhi is coming back to, hopefully, is still some semblance of what he might have experienced in 2020, which is the gratitude, the optimism, the hype, the belief, right? Like, one thing I'll tell you, as a Raptor fan who watched 2019 every game, even though I was going through like a devastating breakup, a brain tumor at the time, just a horrible year for me overall before that championship parade. But what I went through that year, I can tell you, every game I walked in, we can win this game. Every playoff series, we can win this playoff series. And I wonder if that is the belief that his teammates who enter the locker room, there's a gravitas, man, to a freaking superstar. There's a real something. You've seen LeBron James in person, right?
Yeah.
When he walks past you, does the earth move a little bit? It's weird, but it's true. That's LeBron James, okay? There's not a lot of players that you can say that about. Steph Curry warming up. I remember watching this Steph Curry live for the first time. I remember walking down and I got as close to like the court as I could, and I saw Steph Curry warming up, and I'm like, that's Steph Curry. He doesn't feel human. That's Steph freaking Curry. You've seen him achieve immortalized greatness on the highest level. Kevin Durant. I've seen Kevin Durant in person. Oh my God, that's Kevin fucking Durant. Michael Jordan. Hakeem Olajuwon in his prime. Shaquille O'Neal. Kobe Bryant. Nikola Jokic. These are icons. These are not good players. These are not great players. These are icons. These are legends of the game. These are the people without whom NBA history cannot be told. Cannot be told. NBA history will remember Brandon Ingram as a really good player. NBA history cannot be told without Kawhi Leonard and Steph Curry. There is something very, very crazy when that guy is in your locker room, in your practices, barking out orders. There is something insane when you look down on the plane and you see that's. I'm guaranteeing you, Kawhi's like Scotty's such a kid sometimes. I'll guarantee you, Scotty's going to get on a fucking plane. He's going to get on a plane and he's going to look down and he's going to look at this giant-handed man looking at his phone, and he's going to be like, I'm on the same plane as Kawhi Leonard. That's a 2-time All-Star. That's a borderline All-NBA guy. That's a 5-star recruit. That's a McDonald's All-American. And yeah, there's still some starstruckness that Kawhi Leonard is on my team.
Oh, I forgot he didn't make All-NBA this year.
That's crazy to me. I think this is the best. This is the best two-way duo in the NBA. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum is right up there, but I think I prefer
probably Bam and Giannis. still.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's 3 of them.
But
There's
like,
3 of
yeah,
them.
but that Kawhi Scotty was going to be crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, thanks a lot for coming on, man. Appreciate you. As always, you know,
man.
keep pushing fighting that good fight with the American media to get Scotty Barnes and Kawhi Leonard now on All NBA next year. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
Yep. You know what
All right,
time it is.
man,
Thank you, bro. I'll see you soon, bro.
All right. Where can people find you? Real shit. Real shit. When is the trade finalized? It's done, and it'll be finalized with the league office really soon. I would say the chances of it falling apart are less than 0.5% right now. Okay, let's get to these comments. Okay, and I'm doing that thing that Swiper does, unfortunately, where I'm like pulling the comments up, but I'm not like removing them. So I'm gonna remove that one. Thank you very much for that super chat. I will remove this. Thank you very much to you, 319 gift. Appreciate you very much. Armin, grade the trade for both teams. I did that. Thank you very much. I just stole a noob. Free agency is open right now. I'll get to that in a second. I'm going to keep my timeline open right now. See what breaks at 6 o'clock. I'm sure we're going to get a ton of news very quickly. But right now, it's all Kawhi. Okay. This is, yes, more moves are absolutely coming. I'm kind of late, but what did we trade for him? We traded 2027, 2029, apparently unprotected. I don't know about this because I have not heard back on that. But if it's been reported, I'm sure it's at least possibly true. In a 2030 swap alongside Grady Dick, 2 second-round picks, and Brandon Ingram. Okay. We got Derek. Medicals are key before deal goes through. That is true. Yes, it is possible that Kawhi fails his medicals and somehow this deal is rescinded, leading to a very, very awkward situation a la Mark Williams. I will tell you right now, it is up to the team that is doing the medicals to, one, probably do their due diligence beforehand to know if there's a chance the player is going to fail medicals, one. 2, Kawhi played a pretty relatively healthy season last year, so it's very unlikely that they're going to see something as medicals that was not reported to them. Usually teams rely on players to self-report, you know, if there's anything going wrong that's going to be a little bit different, and it's up to the team to decide whether a player fails or passes the medical. I will tell you that teams are pretty generous in this process, and it's very unlikely that a team is going to just be very, very nitty-picky about this stuff. If there's a little bit of scar tissue, if there's a little bit of soreness somewhere, this is not what's going to cause someone to fail a medical. So I don't think that medicals are going to hold this team up. Papa Mochi said, hands, Kawhi. Man, there was there's this video of Kawhi Leonard putting his hands up to Shaquille O'Neal, and it's almost the same size. Yes, this is the all hands team. Absolutely. Kawhi will be old in 2030, so the swap is valuable. Kawhi is probably going to be retired by 2030, dude. His deal runs 2026, 27, 27, 28, 28, 29. That's the whole deal. Okay. So it's 26, 27 at $50 million. Then the extension kicks in for 2 years. After that, he might be, I doubt he's going to want to leave Toronto. I don't think Toronto's going to do anything to sour their relationship with him, or they're going to fail to build a proper team, you know, with him and around him. But I don't see Colin Murray-Boyles and Scotty Barnes and, you know, Jacoby Walter and, you know, some of these players, they're going to be very good players. I understand that you'd probably be it might be a little bit easier to do this deal if you were a little bit closer to the window, or if you had a little bit more young talent on the brims, like OKC. You know, if you had, I don't know, if you had Chet Holmgren waiting behind the wings, you're like, oh, Chet and Scotty, they're going to be fine. But I think the Raptors have a lot of faith that Colin Murray-Boyles and Scotty Barnes are going to be a really good duo going forward. So I don't think they're that worried. You said it and they did it. Well done, Pensare, said Elliot Roberts. Y'all heard Elliot come on earlier. Appreciate you, bro. Jet Sangani, will Kyle Lowry unretire to play with Kawhi? Nope. That is not happening. I'm told that Kyle is pretty firm on his decision to retire, but it would be nice to see Kyle do a 10-day with the Raptors and then retire. That would be great to see that his basketball reference says 2 minutes played with the Raptors in 2026, 2027. And then maybe, just maybe, if the Raptors win a championship this year, you can give Kyle his second ring. Okay, Johnny A 4267 with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Said I was very wrong. What the fuck? Is this a done deal? Let's go. Yes, this deal is done in terms of its framework. It does need to be approved by the league office, but again, Bobby Webster, really smart in terms of league office, workarounds and stuff like this. The Toronto Raptors are very rarely going to get stuck on a technicality that they didn't know about. Nadine Colleen, H8X, became a YouTube member. Thank you, and shout outs to you. Our members live was delayed from Sunday. I just had this idea that I was going to do a members live, and somehow the Kawhi news was going to break during it. So I've been a little bit cautious about doing a members live period. But yes, I will do a members live to make up for the Sunday one that we lost, and now you can watch those. But also, if you become a new member, you can also go back and watch previous lives. And there's some things in these lives that go a little bit deeper than what I talk about on normal lives. Oilers 780 EDM said, why is everyone on social media saying the Clips definitely won the trade and we significantly overpaid for a Kawhi Leonard well past his prime? The simple answer is people hate Toronto. People hate Kawhi. People are idiots. And they probably didn't watch Kawhi Leonard very much last year. I'm not saying that Kawhi Leonard isn't past his peak. I'm just saying the player that Kawhi Leonard is today, the player Kawhi was last year, 50 players in NBA history have ever been that good. So if that's Kawhi past his peak, well, shout outs. What's Toronto Marc Gasol type of trade? I mean, Marc Gasols do not grow on trees, my friend. Mark, it's difficult to find a Marc Gasol. But if you're talking about an older, defensively oriented passing center, I'm not entirely sure one exists, man. But we'll scour the trade market. Honestly, Derek White, that's your Marc Gasol comparable in terms of like intangibles and spacing and intelligent. And yeah, it might be Derek White, maybe a Cam Johnson. If the Nuggets are really, really squeezed by the salary, somehow getting a Cam Johnson here, I think that, in a 3-team type of deal, maybe a Cam Johnson goes for a pick or something like that. I think Cam would be amazing in Toronto if the Raptors were able to do RJ Barrett or something like that. Trey Murphy is not exactly at all a Marc Gasol type of trade, but it is certainly something that I think maybe the Raptors would have looked at before they gave up all these picks. So, yeah. Kihan Baria said, Rob, bro, this just made my year. Let's fucking go. My biggest regret as a Raptor fan is that I didn't get to fully soak in the championship run. Number one, because it was going through a hell of a hard time. As I mentioned before on that stream with Swiper, when we were talking, I was going through a pending brain tumor, one of the, a very significant and kind of heartbreaking breakup. Was going through an entire shift. I didn't know what planet I was on. And yeah, my team was, the team that I watched was going for a finals. And I have to tell you, that entire year feels like such a blur to me. And it was so cathartic and so amazing. And I remember being at the parade and storming the streets after and celebrating with all these Raptor fans when, it was like the guy with the cactus and shit. I ended up seeing that guy at one point. I didn't talk to him. So it's like, I didn't get the full opportunity from a stable place to enjoy that championship run. I will not take this for granted. This feels different, And plus, my favorite player is still on the team. And now one of my other favorite players is on that team joining him. Lance Scott with the 279 super chat. Appreciate you. Said, welcome home, fun guy. Absolutely, man. And tomorrow is Canada Day. We're going to have fireworks. Kawhi is going to be here. I may or may not sing the national anthem as just a salute to Canada getting Kawhi back. That would be great. Keon Leahy said, man, I am so happy right now. You and me too, brother. You and me too. 6'6" Kawhi, 6'7.2. What are we using barefoot translations here? Come on now. Kawhi is legit 6'7. Scotty is a legit 6'9. If you stood next to Scotty Barnes, you would never call him 6'7" ever. He's huge. Like, see him standing next to Giannis. He's not that much smaller than Giannis. This is 6'7", 6'9". They're bigger than Jordan and Pippen. There you go. That's the one thing they have over Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. They're slightly bigger than team. But thank you so much for the 199 euro super chat. Appreciate you. Baseline Hour said late. Where did we land on price? Fair, slightly overpaid, but still very, very happy with it and not complaining. Oilers 780 EDM, the 999 super chat said, why are so many people on social media talking about how this clip did you send this twice or did I forget to flag this? I apologize. But I answered this. Wait. I can see how they overpaid with picks, but Kawhi is legit still. Kawhi is absolutely legit. And as I said before, to a very similar super chat or the exact same super chat, people don't watch Kawhi play. People didn't watch the Clippers play enough last year. They watch highlights. The Clippers were not a story last year. The Clippers were a story only when they were losing to start the year. They were a story because of the aspiration scandal. They were not a story because of a basketball team. The teams that, were really a story last year, honestly, the Spurs. The Spurs were the story last year, right? The Hornets. The Hornets were a story last year. These were the teams that people were tuning in on League Pass to watch. Okay. In a sense, the Raptors were a bigger story than the Clippers were last year. And yeah. Johnny A, 4267. Will any vets now jump on board for low money? I think the Raptors are banking on veterans on low money contracts joining this core of Scotty Barnes and Kawhi Leonard and etc. Jonathan M, shout outs to you, Jonathan. As you can, you can't see it actually, but right over here in my periphery, I have the carve out that you made of Sasha. It's like right there, and I look at it almost every single day. It's like one of the nicest things anyone's ever done for me. So thank you so much for that. Any chance of getting Turner without extra picks? I don't think so, because the matching salary would be Jakob Poeltl, and I don't see that happening unless you're trading RJ Barrett and getting very, very, very jumbo sized. And RJ Barrett, you start Jacoby Walter, and then you're banking on, I don't know, something else, maybe some free agent like Tim Hardaway Jr. coming in off your bench. I don't think you necessarily want to get thinner on backcourt players right now, though. I mean, realistically, like you just lost 2 front court players, one of whom doesn't play. So I understand your backcourt is pretty much in a stable position right now. But if you start trading RJ Barrett for centers, like I think you may struggle to fill out your guard room. And I'm not saying RJ Barrett is necessarily a guard, but he's much more of a guard than, Miles Turner. So I think I would play it out. And maybe the Raptors will slow play this extension with RJ Barrett. Maybe RJ Barrett will take a little less money now that he knows that he has a chance to literally compete with the guy who won a championship for his city. Like maybe, just maybe, this adjusts the thinking on the RJ Barrett extension. Maybe RJ is like, you know what? You got Kawhi. I understand for me to fit into this and want to be a part of this, I'm willing to take 25 million instead of pushing for 32, pushing for 33. If RJ Barrett takes 25, as much as I have issues with some of the holes in his game, he's proven it year over year to be a playoff player. And I just happen to think he's going to fit in really next to Kawhi Leonard. And honestly, I've talked so much about, how the young guys like Jacoby and Scotty and, all these guys are going to benefit from watching Kawhi. Let's not forget about RJ. RJ is still pretty young. He's 25 years old, 25, going on 26. He's going to benefit too. So is Emmanuel Quickly. These guys are not chopped liver. They're not that old. So, I think there's something there. The homie nicked 8208 with a $20 super chat. I am so psyched. The draft capital is a lot, and it would be nice if 2027 or 2029 is protected. But this makes the team so much better over the next few years. I would much rather be giving up these picks than the young guys. I think the Toronto Raptors applied the old adage of it's better to have a bird in the hand than a bird in the bush. So whether they are correct in their assessment, Jacoby Walter blossoms the way, they think he will and I think he will. I'm telling you that Jacoby, Scotty, and CMB are the reason they made this trade. RJ, being serviceable in the playoffs is a big reason why they made this trade. They would not have made this trade if 2 conditions were not satisfied. Number 1, Kawhi extends. Number 2, the team around him that remains is good enough to contend with. It's not possible. Izzy Joe 43-2 said Lowry on a minimum vet minimum, or am I too sentimental? You might be a little too sentimental, but I'm right there with you. I would love that. Kevin Rio 9107 with a members chat said Lowry coming back as a vet mentor would be cool. I think everyone is thinking about Kyle Lowry so much right now. Appreciate that, man. But same response. What do we do long term with IQ, RJ, and Yak? They fit. It's not a horrible, it's not a horrible fit. I would prefer a starting lineup with a little bit more shooting, but this is where Scotty Barnes becomes a big variable here. Scotty Barnes needs to shoot for this to perfectly work. I'm not saying he has to shoot for it to work well. I'm saying if it's going to work great, Scotty's going to have to hit like 36% of his threes. So, and Alan Graves is going to have to shoot right away. And Colin Murray-Boyle is going to have to take a step up as a shooter. And Jacoby Walters is going to have to be the lights out. And Jamison Battle, who may get a new contract this summer, I'm not really sure where his contract is right now. He's going to have to continue to progress. So the Raptors are betting on the team that came last year that we can add Kawhi in place of basically Brandon Ingram and basically run it back and go from a 46-win team to a 52, 53-win team with real playoff aspirations. Okay. Cast 2929 said, let's go. This is the type of enthusiasm I'm looking for. Absolutely. Let's go indeed. I just stole a noob with the 199 super chat. So defensively, 2019 or Raps or current Raps? '19 Raps. Because Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry are so much better than Emmanuel Quickley. Danny Green is so much better than RJ Barrett. And while I appreciate that, and Kawhi 2019 is a better defender than he was today, and Marc Gasol is on a completely different planet as Jakob Poeltl. That being said, Scotty Barnes better than Pascal Siakam. Colin Murray-Boyle is better than, second, third year OG at that point. There's some comparables. The Raptors will be a top 3 defense if it all works out well, I think. Car Y, Long Car Y, or Car Y 15 said, what a week. Leafs, McKenna, Team Canada, and Kawhi. This is certainly a good week to be a Canadian. Absolutely, man. Donald Putnam, 9600, is a new member. Donald, welcome to the show. Welcome to the channel. Appreciate you very, very much. Thank you for coming through, man. Okay, let's check out to see what's been happening with free agency. I apologize. This is very L host. I've been hanging around Ronald too much. Let's see what the latest is on free agency. Deals can be announced pretty soon. Where are we going here? Do we have nothing? Free agency opens at 6 p.m., right? Am I crazy or am I wrong? Hold on. I gotta check this. I'm getting really sloppy like over the last 20 hours or so. Like I've been noticing like mistakes that I'm making. So I thought it was 6 p.m. today. When does... Yeah, it is 6 p.m. Why has nothing been broken yet? The formal signing is 12:01, but typically we see things breaking around like 6:30, 7 o'clock. So, we're getting pretty close into that area. Oh man, this shit is making me sentimental. It's making me hella sentimental. Oh my God. Okay. We already watched that. Okay, let's see what LeBron...
What does happiness mean? Sources close to LeBron James told me a place where he can play meaningful basketball, can compete on a night-to-night basis. And we've seen the last couple of years, there's been a lot of changes come to this Lakers organization. So for LeBron James, the priority in leaving LA and going to a new home is finding that happiness and finding a place where he can compete at the highest level. I'm told this is not going to be a financially driven, money-driven decision for LeBron James coming up. And then you get to the who of it all. I am told...
Okay, I'll spoil it for you. It's Miami, Golden State, and potentially the Cleveland Cavaliers. So 2 of his former teams, and then, of course, the newly formed Banana Boat crew in Anthony Davis, Steph Curry, Draymond Green. Draymond Green just wants to be a part of something, man. He just wants to be a part of LeBron's posse right now. Crew, posse, I don't know. Karen Hall, what a day. Holy cow. Can't wait to see them play. Did I do the holy cow? Did I do that correctly? Okay. I'm hearing a lot about Sid Sixero. That clown. Okay. Let's get to this. Wing. One sec. Okay, where was Sid's bullshit? Where is it? I've posted so much. Also, do y'all appreciate like the sales pitching? Don't give up on Grady. He's just 22. Eye emoji. This intense pitch for, Brandon Ingram last night. Like, oh my God, he's amazing. This is like my dream fantasy. Kawhi trade, Norm sign and trade, Lowry, Boucher, and Ibaka on minimums. Gasol and Danny, assistant coaches. Jeremy Lin, director of Asian scouting. Family on 3. Shout outs. Trying to reunite. Also, big shout outs to Chris Boucher, who's probably very excited about this deal. Okay. This was me. There's no place like home. There's no place. Also, you got to appreciate, I've pushed this whole idea of Kawhi coming home to Toronto as a bit of an ironic twist, right? Like, this was kind of funny, I have to say. This was a little bit funny. Can we agree this is a little bit funny? It's big. Okay. And multiple mixes of Kawhi in a Raptors jersey saying like, I'm coming home. Do you understand? Like, someone asked me today, they're like, do you understand that you're going to have to go in hiding if this deal does not go through? You have pushed this so hard. You have said it is a done deal the entire way through. Like, can you please like acknowledge that you might have to take a frigging week off? And I was just like, no, I'm going to own it. I'm going to stand up here and be like, yes, I was right all along, but it fell apart. Sorry. Yeah. Where are we at? I'm trying to look for this Sid Sixero bullshit and I'm not finding it, but I know I posted about it somewhere. It was such a trash take, man. Here we go.
Disrespected everybody on the way out. He reached the highest of heights for this city, disrespected everybody on the way out. I will only stay with your franchise if you mortgage everything. How did that work out in LA? Real smart GM Kawhi Leonard is. Brilliant. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's on another team now because of him. Never forget that. I believe this city, it's the butt of some jokes from hockey, has a pretty good baseball history despite what happened at the end of last year, and this is an NBA championship city. This city still has some pride. To hell with Kawhi Leonard and whatever he wants.
When has it ever worked well for me to scream into a microphone and tell someone in the Toronto media space what I feel about them? It's never gone well for me, and it won't go well for me today. What I can say is that I hate this. I hate this culture. I hate this mentality. I hate this pompous, arrogant douche for acting like he knows what happened behind the scenes when absolutely nobody who knows anything would ever talk to someone like this. This is somebody who is preying on the flames of conspiracy, hatred, victimization. I am so often, and this may be rare in this space, I am so often trying to think about what kind of people listen to me, and are the people that are listening to me having a better day because they're listening to me? Are they learning something new because I'm bringing it up and bringing it to their attention? Are we talking about basketball in an intelligent way that I think moves the game forward? Are we being supportive of the social causes and general goals that I have for society? I mean, this is a very meta discussion. This type of content, this type of talking point, it does nothing. It's vindictive, it's catty, it's bitchy, it's washed. Talking like this, like, first of all, it's false. Categorically false. False. He didn't tell the Clippers they had to trade Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The OKC Thunder said you have to trade Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He said, get me Paul George And the Clippers negotiated with a very good negotiator who knew that they had to get Paul George. And obviously, you're not gonna say Sam Presti's a bad guy for squeezing them when they were desperate. They're the bad guys. They're greedy. Let me ask you a question. If you're in a desert and you're thirsty, does the person charging $200 a bottle for water owe you an apology? No. You pay the price that you're willing to pay based on the situation you're in. And so this idea that Kawhi did this and Kawhi did that, it's so nasty. This pompous has no clue what superstars are like behind the scenes. Kawhi is really not that high maintenance at all by superstar standards. At all. There's plenty of very melodramatic superstars. How about this, buddy? Have you ever, in Kawhi's entire year here, did you see any media report of him not being happy in Toronto? Did you hear any report of him being unhappy that the Raptors are willing to not support him by trading away more first-round picks to get him more help? Nope. He was very egoless. He came in, he did his job, his teammates loved him. He was not LeBron. He was not Giannis. He was not like, how about this? Did you ever see Kawhi Leonard throw his teammates under the bus in the media? That's a Fred VanVleet special, right? I never saw that. Did you ever see Kawhi Leonard duck accountability when he missed a shot? Did you ever hear him say, well, it wasn't my fault. This other guy should have made his shots. My teammates are too young. My teammates are too bad. Pascal Siakam's not good enough. Kyle Lowry's old and fat. He never did that. Did you ever see Kawhi Leonard make a big deal about the fact that he didn't always trust his head coach and say, maybe we need to get a more experienced coach? He could have made that 1 year in Toronto so nasty. He didn't. Everyone in this Raptors organization loves Kawhi Leonard. Never heard another thing otherwise. Nobody ever said, oh yeah, you should have seen it behind the scenes. He was such a prima donna. He was so lazy. He never talked to anybody. He was such a pariah. That never happened. It never happened. If you've known me off of Pensare Basketball, off of Player's Choice, if you know me in real life, you know I've been screaming since 2005 that Vince Carter was a good teammate, that he never did half the things that this media space accused him of doing. They just tore him apart. They don't like superstars here. I don't know why. Maybe they're jealous. They make too much money. Oh, Connor McDavid makes this much money. What was Kawhi Leonard to ask for $60 million? They don't respect him. He doesn't respect him. This douche right here, this guy right here, he does not respect Kawhi Leonard. He doesn't appreciate Kawhi Leonard, but he doesn't respect himself. You don't talk about a franchise legend this way. You don't talk about a guy who played through injury for a team he had no intention of coming back to, played through hurt, played through an injury, and delivered a championship. And believe me, delivered a championship. Okay, he was the best player on that team in every round. You cannot convince me otherwise. Please. I ain't saying boycott Sid Sixero, but I think his ratings are about to boycott himself. I don't know. I wish this mic wasn't on stand. I would drop it right now. I don't like Sid Sixero. I've never liked Sid Sixero. Let me straight up. I watched him and Sid. I did. They were fun. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It felt like you were hanging out with some buddies. He never struck me the right way. And some of this stuff, no. Dean Wade would be really cool. That would be a really cool idea. That would be a really cool idea. Donald Putnam said, how about signing Andre Drummond? It's not the worst idea. He's a very good rebounder. He's got okay touch around the rim. It's not the worst idea. It's not the worst idea at all. I think it's a good depth piece, definitely. And Andre Drummond is the direction that you need to be going in right now. Now, obviously, we look at some of the better free agents out there, Quentin Grimes, guys like that. Those guys are probably going to be out of touch for the Toronto Raptors overall. But let me see if I can pull up a list of available free agents from Spot Track, and we can talk about what some of these guys might be going for. Let's just check this here. Okay. So this is no good. Okay, no bueno. So this is available. Okay, let's get this screen up and let's get to business here, man. That's what you guys are here for. You're here for business. You're not here for me to wax poetic about how Sid Sixero is an idiot. Okay, let's go. LeBron James, nope. James Harden, nope. Go down the list. Chris Middleton would be nice. Kristaps Porzingis has already signed a 2-year, $20 million a year extension. Tobias Harris, not gonna be able to afford him. I'm gonna pull up the bird rights and type situation here. Let's see. Okay, this is good. This is too small. This is too big. Hang on. I am going to have to make myself small and widen this out. Give me one sec. There we go. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's go through this. Okay. So Draymond Green, he has opted out. He is going back to Golden State. John Collins, that's an idea. For sure, that's an idea. Jonathan Kuminga might be a very expensive idea, and I don't think that you can afford him. Colin Sexton is definitely an idea I would look at if he's available. Bogdan Bogdanovic on a minimum would be an excellent. Y'all ready for this? Let's go. There is a championship banner. Why does it line up for Moreland? Fuck. Timberwolves have re-signed Bones Highland. Good job. Lachlan Quinn saying it's a 2027 swap, 2031 and 2033 first. No. Where'd you get that? Did you text me this? Okay, we're gonna be patient with Lachlan. Hold on, we're gonna be patient because he did text me this, and I'm not gonna confirm nor deny, but he says he knows. And whoa. We're not banning Lachlan. Relax. You don't know what he knows. Check Shams. There you go. So just so we are clear, and I want to give Lachlan full credit for this because he has come through for me before. Lachlan knew this an hour ago. He texted me this an hour ago. I'm an idiot, so I didn't check my phone. So relax. Nobody's banning anybody here. My bad, Lachlan. Yes, everybody say sorry, Lachlan. Okay, just to confirm this from Shams. Oh, so it gets worse. Okay. No, Ricky Tan. I said the Raptors prefer not to go over 2030. That was the deal. They preferred not to go over 2030. So this is a massive squeeze. Okay. So let's regrade this trade with current now value in mind. I don't want to dampen anyone's parade. This is now a C+ for the Raptors and an A+ for the Clippers. Yeah, it is official. That is official. So if it is in fact unprotected, this is legitimately suicidal. The Clippers will receive unprotected first round picks in 2031, 2033, 2030. Okay, and the 2027 is a swap. Okay. Okay. Let's play this out. Okay. We're going to play this out as a positive, negative, because there's really upside and downside to both. Okay. I'm going to tell you that the upside here, and this is probably what the relax. We're not the first team to trade picks 6-7 years out. It usually doesn't turn out well, but relax. Okay. Cass saying they have 0 picks in 2033. Dude, the world might be over in 2033. Relax. So I told y'all not to trust this dude. I told y'all a million years ago, don't trust this dude. Clutch points is a joke. Don't trust them. They've been wrong about this the entire way through. That's why I kind of waited to like lock this in, lock in my emotions here. Okay. So there's an upside and a downside to this, and I'm going to give you the upside and the downside. The downside is Kawhi Leonard is not going to be on your team in 2031 and 2033. So let's just start there. Okay. 2031 and 2033 are very, very, very far out trades. Bobby Webster might be fired at that point. Scotty Barnes might be on another team. You've given up some very, very valuable picks if things go bad for you. Okay. That's the downside. This is a loss of control. Here is the upside. And this is, scary territory, but let me give you the upside. Okay. The upside here is you have an exceptionally young team with an almost completed roster right now. And you have all those picks in 2028, 2029 back. So right now, the only pick that is actually tradable is 2029. And of course, you can trade the swap, by the way, because the Stepien rule, right? So 2027 swap can be traded. 2029 can be traded. 2031 and 2033 obviously can't because they've been traded. 2030, hold on, let me read this again. So 2032 can be traded as a swap. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna give you like a crazy idea here. Well, let me pull this up, and I'm gonna base it on reality. I'm gonna give you the potential assets you have to trade for another superstar. By the way, hang on, because the swap is a swap right for the pick, right? So sorry, what I'm trying to say is the pick belongs to you as a swap next year, but more than likely the swap is meaningless because you're the better team, right? So technically your 2027 pick is still intact. Do you understand what I'm saying? Next year, you will still have a first round pick to bring into this team to support your current vision of winning a championship with Kawhi Leonard. Got it? And then, okay. So now I'm not suggesting the Raptors are going to do this at all, but I'm saying just in case you wanted to do this, you still could. Here's what you can trade. This is going to, well, I don't have another team to make a trade with. Fuck. Where? Let's pretend you want to make a deal with the Phoenix Suns. Not that you do, but I'm saying let's pretend you wanted to. Hypothetically, what can you offer? You can offer this as a swap, and Phoenix would effectively get the worst of Toronto or the Clippers pick. That pick is available to you. You can foolishly offer 2029 unprotected. Okay. Just straight up unprotected. You can offer 2028 as a swap. $2031 as a swap. That's what you can trade. That's not what you're going to use. I'm saying that's what you can trade. And you can use RJ Barrett's expiring. So, yeah, it's tough. So we still have 2028 and 2030. Right. So 2027 is the swap, right? 2028 is free. 2029 is free. 2030 is free. 2031 is theirs. 2032 is ours. 2033 is theirs. Look, 2030 plus picks are very valuable because they're far off into the future. It's a lottery ticket. You bought a lottery ticket, right? You bought a lottery ticket. Kawhi's not going to be on this team anymore. You're betting that you're going to build a sustainable winning culture by then, and those picks are going to be ass cheeks. Okay. This is the wrong way to think about this. We talking about 14-year-olds. Actually, you might be talking about 12-year-olds, but that's not the point. Picks allow. Someone said RJ is gone. How do you know RJ is gone? But wait, Kawhi still needs to attend 40 games in street clothes. I mean, that's low-hanging fruit. I don't appreciate that. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much worse do y'all feel after this news? I think you feel worse and you're looking for consensus. I don't feel that much worse. I see the upside and the downside to this. The downside is you gave up way more valuable picks. The upside is you've given yourself a much easier time building a championship core around Kawhi Leonard over the next 3 years. That's how I would look at it. Okay. So 2033 is the most traded draft pick I've ever seen. Look, I mean, from the perspective of trying to support Kawhi Leonard with a actual window to compete, you now have a better option to do that. The Raptors seem to draft well. They believe they've drafted well with Scotty and CMB. You're going to clear up a whole bunch of cap space. Hopefully you'll be a cap space team. There are plenty of teams that either didn't pick in this, first round. People become way too obsessed with draft picks. I'm not trying to spin this as like, oh, wow, the Raptors won this deal. The Raptors lost this deal. The Raptors lose every deal. Okay, let's just be real. Since Bobby Webster has taken over, you've lost pretty much the negotiation on every single deal. And what did I say? I really hope that Bobby Webster understands that they're going to fight dirty, and that I hope that he brought more than a spoon to a knife fight. Well, he didn't. He brought a spoon to a knife fight, and then he brought another spoon to a knife fight, and now he had 5 spoons in his pocket, and they were holding a gun to his head. So I understand that we might have leapt into this. Maybe Masai Ujiri would have had the wisdom to take us out of this. Maybe Masai Ujiri is the type of negotiator who would have said, you know what, fuck it. But then again, Masai Ujiri also traded a lottery pick under his watch for Jakob Poeltl and pivoted to compete with Fred VanVleet. So who knows, right? Our front office, look, do y'all remember? How about this? To the people who know this channel and who've been watching us for the last few weeks, do you remember when Mike Roach and I had that conversation about Bobby Webster and I asked a whole bunch of critical questions? Do you remember that part where it said, how much do you trust Bobby Webster? Okay. I don't appreciate being called a liar, so I didn't say that. I said the Raptors prefer not to trade 2030 picks. I said eventually what I think the Raptors will concede is 2031. Now I'm finding out that they conceded 2033. Do not use my reporting. Do not use my reporting against me. I don't appreciate that. I don't take it kindly. I've worked very, very hard on this. I said the Raptors preferred to trade picks that were closer to the current core, and they did. 100% they did. The fact that they caved at the end and gave the Clippers every single thing that they wanted is not my fault. I'm not trying to be an asshole about this. I understand you're a community member, but please do not try to troll and say that I got this wrong. I did not get this wrong. Everything I said about this deal came through. So in the 11th hour that the Clippers applied some fucking pressure, okay, cool. He caved. He gave them everything. Bro is overreacting. Before it was 2 late 20 picks and a lottery swap in 2030. Now it's 2 2030s picks where the future is up in the air because the end of SGA's OKC contract. I don't think that you or I know where the Toronto Raptors. Oh, got you. Sorry for crashing out. Yes, this is not what I wanted to happen. But also, I know this is not what the Raptors wanted to happen. Right? The Raptors do not like trading out picks this far ahead. The Clippers, on the other hand, they love these picks. They're a lottery pick. They know, and I mean, look at this. This is a bet against the This is a bet on the Raptors current, by the way. Just an FYI. The Clippers did not want the 2027, 2029 picks. They were pushing for 2030 and beyond because they know Kawhi is going to make this team a good team. And again, in the event right now, the Raptors are, okay, I'll give you one more positive. Let's say the absolute worst happens and this Kawhi thing doesn't work out super, super well for you in 2028. Let's just say he gives you a really good year next year. And then for whatever reason, something happens. It doesn't work out so well. You have to pivot away. I don't know. 2028 is yours. I'll give you another really positive of this. We don't know the rules around the lottery going forward, 2029, 2030 onward. But in 2027, 2028, 2029, we know that the lottery odds are very flattened, right? So this means if the Raptors narrowly miss the playoffs in 2028, they could have a chance to like a number 1 overall pick. But if the league doesn't like this, and if the Raptors maybe get a sense that the league won't keep this rule going forward in 2030, you could make a point that the 2029 pick is just as valuable as the 2031 pick. Uncertainty scares people. Kenneth Lau saying the Raptors got fleeced. Yeah, that's the cost of doing business. You know who else got fleeced? The Knicks when they traded for Mikal Bridges. You know who else got fleeced? The Magic when they traded for Desmond Bane. Everyone's going to say this thing got fleeced, but you're not completely valuing the monetary benefit of trading for Kawhi Leonard. You're thinking about this like it's 2K and it's not 2K. This is real life. Okay? This is real life. And in real life, Kawhi changes your organization completely fundamentally for the next 2 years. It changes your valuation potentially. He changes MLSE's pocketbooks. There's just so much impact here. You have to understand you will almost always feel like you are overpaying for a superstar. Almost always. Right? So, like, I know that the Raptors paid a lot. I know that. But the Raptors have paid a lot for everything. Why are you surprised? Anytime you heard this, oh, the Raptors are holding firm with Grady Dick and Brandon Ingram in a first-round pick, I'm like, there's no way they're going to concede a second first. They have to concede a second first. They concede the second first, and they also give, like, this is the same front office that renegotiated a contract extension with Jakob Poeltl before he hit free agency because they wanted to avoid him potentially leaving for nothing. This is the same front office that allowed Fred VanVleet to hold them on the barrel. This is not a front office that you should trust to negotiate well. This is not their strong suit. They are not tough negotiators. I think we all know that. They got fleeced in every trade. They got fleeced by Danny Ainge in the Utah deal. They got fleeced by the Knicks in the Knicks deal. They got fleeced by this. I would argue they got probably fleeced by the Pacers because they got 3 pretty low value picks, and the Pacers ended up with one of them back, which they used to get Ivica Zubac. So in a lot of ways, the Pacers traded Bruce Brown. I don't want to think about that trade. That trade web is messy. So look, like, and I said this, like, business is messy. Business is messy, and you want to deal with good faith partners that won't suddenly change the terms in the 11th hour because there's a lot of moving parts here. And I do believe that the Raptors got screwed, of course, again by the Clippers. But karma is a real thing, and Penn, did the Rockets get fleeced for KD? Remind me what the deal was for KD again. I don't remember off the top of my head. What was the deal for KD? What was the exact deal for Kevin Durant? I don't think they got fleeced. SGA is coming in 2031. Why are we stressing out? Wow. Malawach, Brooks, and Jalen Green. Is that it? No picks? So come on, Malawach was the 9th overall pick. Were there any additional picks brought in? No. So Jalen Green was the former number 2 pick. I think he was a little bit overpaid. No. It was 5 second rounders. I think in that situation, the Phoenix Suns lost that deal. Wait, I gotta think about this. No, I mean, honestly, Phoenix had to move on. Kevin Durant was a little bit older, right? I'm pretty sure he was like 37 at the time almost. So a little bit older than Kawhi. Has already had an Achilles tear. I don't know, man. That's tough. Dylan Brooks has turned out to be marvelous for the Suns. Kaman Malawach may not amount to very much. The second round picks are purely hypotheticals at this point. I'm not really sure I agree with that concept. Yeah. But I mean, from a pure value, like, okay. So hypothetically, with full force of certainty that you do not have your 2031 pick, right? And you also know that you don't have your 2033 pick. I will say this, though. It took Bobby Webster to get the deal done for Kawhi the first time. This is the second time that Bobby Webster has, gotten the deal done for Kawhi. The season that Kawhi's coming off of and the season Brandon Ingram's coming off of, you could argue you sold low on Ingram and you sold very high on Kawhi. And because Kawhi also offered the extension, I think that's tough. Maybe if Kawhi wanted to maximize the window for the Raptors, what he should have done, and again, this is just me thinking about it, is he should have privately let the Raptors know that he would extend, but he shouldn't have let the Clippers know he would extend. Therefore saying that but he has to paint a destination. Like, people can just be like, oh no, he's intending to whatever. It would be tough. But the minute, like, I looked at it as he's allowing the Raptors to basically have a one-way bidding war against themselves because the other competitors backed out. But we don't know what the Dallas Mavericks offer was. If the Dallas Mavericks were offering Najee Marshall, there was some murmur around noon today that the Mavericks got reinterested. And I made nothing of it, but we'll see, man. We'll see. I'll tell you right now. If you get, like, can y'all realize one thing? You already gave up a lottery pick for Jakob Poeltl. Like, that really did turn into a lottery pick. Your lottery pick that you gave up for Brandon Ingram was a lottery pick. If we don't end up if we give up one lottery pick for Kawhi Leonard, you really that mad about it? Not that mad about it. One lottery pick. I mean, obviously, if it ends up being LeBron James the second, right? Like the second coming of LeBron James in 2033, and you're the worst team in the league, and somehow you fall ass backwards to the first overall pick and you give it up, dude, that's scary. But you know what else is scary? Getting hit by a car. You know what else is scary? Your plane crashes. You still walk the street, right? Like, I don't know why people get all doomsday about this. Like, why is it that if you trade a 2033 pick, it's certainly going to be like some generational prospect like Victor Wembanyama you just traded? Nick laughs saying Kawhi already at the Jays game. Is that actually true? Is that happening? No way. Dude, there's no way Kawhi's at. Where did you see it? Where did you see it? Where did you see it? Sorry. This is the worst part about the fact that I'm. No, it was an old video. Thank you. I was like, damn, that's quick. That would be quick. Damn. Let's read some comments here. Give me 1 sec. Parlay Porter said anything on a third team for Trace Jackson Davis and Battle to open up the mid-level exception for us. Oh man, this is heavier than I thought. Toronto got absolutely fleeced. Mark my words, 2030, a lot of Canadians are going to want to come home. Oh, that's prophetic. Clips love some dick for sure. That's not a bad return at all for the Clips. The Clippers won the trade off those picks value finally. So the Clippers are getting dick. Yikes. I think people are just loving saying that statement out loud. Yeah. It does not feel like. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, the criticism is fair. If this doesn't work out, you've traded away a lot. NBA said, damn, Penn, you look sad. Would we be better off not doing the deal? No. No. You're absolutely better off doing this deal. There's a chance it goes horribly for you. There's a chance everything goes horribly, man. There's a chance you draft the player, he tears his Achilles on day one. There's a chance you draft a player, first overall, second overall, third overall, and it doesn't work. You got to take chances, man. I'm sorry. Look, sometimes you got to go for it. The last time the Raptors went for it, it went well. That doesn't mean the second time they go for it is going to go well. But generally speaking, while I do not trust this organization to not overpay for everything, if you caught my conversation with Clipper Talk yesterday, I said we give up a first round pick for everything. We are a dumbass organization that way. Yes, it's possible to get the right player and overpay. Jakob Poeltl is a really good basketball player. They identified that. They overpaid for it. Brandon Ingram was a asset worth rehabbing and trying out. They identified it, but they overpaid for it. I don't know. So look, we overpay for things sometimes. You want to compare 28-year-old Kawhi to 35? Okay. He's coming off a better year than he was coming off of at 28. He's coming with an extension. Maybe you're the person who's getting the comparison wrong. You ever think about that? Think about it. And what will it say about Kawhi's legacy if he wins another chip for the Raptors immediately? It will say he's a top 10 player of all time. I'm not even fucking kidding. Like, people will put him in that conversation with Steph, with KD, with Hakeem. It has to be. Raw Milkman 69 said, did Brandon Ingram like playing in Toronto? Think he's bummed? He chose Toronto. Yes. Do you guys recall Cheap Seats talking about how we will reach contender mode without taking chances? This is the manifestation of that in a form of a trade. I do remember Cheap Seats talking about trading for Karl-Anthony Towns, but in fairness, Karl-Anthony Towns is a lot younger than Kawhi. Quite a bit younger than Kawhi. He's like 3-4 years younger than Kawhi. He is worse than Kawhi, though. So, just a quick note, the 2027 swap will come into play because Clips have the worst of OKC Denver, so Raptors will move back a little. Yikes. So basically, the Raptors have moved to the absolute end of the first round. Yikes. Okay, so that's very, very different. Are you sure? If so, that is bad. Yeah. OKC is going to be a 60+ win team again. I want to give a big shout out to Pepperjack gifting 10 Pensare basketball memberships. I appreciate you, dog, very, very much as always. Thank you guys. Yeah, can confirm. Wow. I mean, this is really stretching. That's funny. The final return for Pascal Siakam, Jacoby Walter, Kawhi Leonard, and Chris Paul. Dude, I'm not even mad at that. Please sell it this way. It's not true at all, but like, I mean, that's funny as hell, man. Thank you. That is hilarious. Someone saying thanks, Pepper. Yeah, man. Thank you so much, man. You gift these memberships. Some people stay on after the month, some people don't, but I appreciate you anyways. It's always cool. One day I hope that our members' lives are like packed. That's my goal. We have about 210-ish members, I think, 210 members in this community, which is a lot. I mean, I'm being real. I looked at other communities. It's enormous. I never dreamt in a million years I'd have 100 members paying every single month to be a part of this community. It's really amazing. But you're a big part of that, man. Not only are you a Hall of Fame member, but you also have brought in a lot of members that have stayed around because they appreciated the content. So I appreciate you very, very much for pushing this for me, And I got to say, like, to the people who are maybe new to me or new around here and stuff, like, dude, like, YouTube memberships pushed it over, right? Like, YouTube memberships pushed it over for me completely. Johnny said, how much per month? I think memberships start at less than $3 for the beginning tier. And I can tell you with quite a lot of confidence, the beginning tier gets you in. You can be a chatter. I think it's a $1.99. Is it $1.99 for a chatter, $4.99 for baller, and then I think you go up to like $24, $25, $35 for VIP. VIP, you can request a I mean, I don't usually plug memberships very much. Maybe that's an L me, but yes, you can request a topic. You can literally say, please break down this play, this player, this draft prospect that I like, this historical debate. And I'll do a video every single month for our VIP members. Someone's saying, Frank? Where the hell is Frank? What are y'all reacting to? Frank put a leash on the Raptors GM and took him. Oh, Lawrence Frank. I thought y'all were saying like L Frank. I'm like, who's Frank? Crazy. The homie Nicked 8208 said at a certain point you have to push your chips into the middle, and I think the core demonstrated that they are worth placing a bigger bet on. Kawhi, Scotty, CMB, Walter, and RJ Quick Graves death lineup in the clutch. In the clutch, yes. In crunch time, yes. Big Ox Media with his first super chat, or possibly second super chat, I can't remember. We were getting on each other's nerves a little bit on the panel. He said, I love you, dog. It's me and you against the world. Yeah, absolutely, man. Ox, I didn't tell you this, but Clippers Talk called in yesterday, and he was like super, super excited to be on. And he apparently he watches Players Choice all the time. And his first question was, where's Ox? And I said, Ox is getting ready. He's getting his Canadian citizenship papers ready to move to Canada because we're getting all his favorite players. So, shout outs to you. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. I appreciate it. That's 10 American greenbacks. Appreciate you, man. And the homie Nicked, shout outs to you. Thank you so much for doing this. Let me just, I forgot to read this. No, I did read this. Holy cow. What a day. Holy cow. Can't wait to see them play. From Karen Hall. Thank you so much. Another VIP member. Thank you very much. KP7 member for 10 months. I've had memberships for 10 months. What? Oh shit. Yes. I launched last August. Good for you. Thank you so much. A supporter since day one. I was 18 when he was here. I feel like a kid again. You know what? I was not 18. I was 30. And now I'm 38. So this is crazy. But yeah, like this is nuts. Uh no tan hold on. Not another shrubbery. I was supposed to say note another. Not another shrubbery. Amazing. I actually bought a shrubbery today. I hope you plant a tree in Kawhi's honor. Thank you so much for this. Donald Putnam said, what about signing Andre Drummond? I think I answered this one and I said, it's a good idea. Thank you so much for this random super chat. Thank you so much. And here he said, let's move on. It's done. What about Koloko? I think Koloko is a little bit too limited offensively as per like where we're at right now to really play meaningful minutes on this team. It's not a bad third center option. It's not the worst thing at all. I'm totally for it. Once again, Pepperjack with the 10 gifted YouTube memberships. Dude, I can't even tell you, man. Like, again, memberships in last August started a pathway for me to actually pay off my home. Like, I think I mentioned this at the time. YouTube offered me like a membership bonus, like basically sign up 100 members and we'll give you X amount for every member that signs up. So I pushed it pretty hard for the first month and people stayed on, which is really amazing because it's actually led to like, it's meaningful. Like, thank you so much. It helps in a slow news month. Now, obviously, I probably also owe a big thanks to Kawhi Leonard because of Kawhi Leonard, our YouTube revenue went through the roof the last 3 days. I hope this is a sign of things to come. That would be amazing. Thank you so much. The homie nicked 28 at a certain point. As I said, yes, we answered this. Look, I think you gotta have a little bit of faith that Scotty is that good. You gotta have a little faith that Kawhi is that proven and that professional. You cannot be like two things can be true. Okay. On the one hand, yes, the Clippers got a lot more than the Raptors wanted to pay. And you might view that as a negative thing. But if Kawhi is who we think he is for the next 3 years, the Raptors are going to extract mega value out of that trade. And bonus, you don't have to pay extra money to get off of potentially, Grady Dick. Part of the pick compensation is to get rid of a negative asset. And you know what? If you guys are so upset, then ask yourself this. Would you be happier trading Jacoby Walter? Would you be happier trading Jacoby Walter instead of the 2033 pick and the 2027 swap? Would you be okay with Jacoby, Grady? I think you all would be complaining. You'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe we gave up this amazing guard. He's so amazing. And then you realize he didn't average 10 points per game last year. People get hella emotional about their own players. I'm not going to give the Raptors like an A grade for this. I'm not at all. I know that they messed up on the valuation a little bit, but you know what it is? I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm actually going to tell you exactly what it is. Let me say this straight. Can you all tell me like what's your favorite car and what it costs? In fact, I'll actually give you the best example because I'm not going to give you a car example. I'm going to give you a condo example. All my life, I wanted to live in a loft. My whole life. Don't ask me why I'm obsessed with lofts. I grew up in New York. That's, something that I really obsessed over. You'd see lofts in movies. You'd see lofts in TV shows. These big skying, staircase that leads up to this. And it's very clean, simple living. I love the idea of tall ceilings, right? In 2009, I actually had a chance to potentially buy a loft. And it was pretty crazy. It was about $320,000, and it was at Yonge and Eglinton. And I really wanted it. Like, I'm gonna tell you, like, I still think about that place every day. I wanted that loft so badly. I was like, man, I really want. I could see myself living there. I could see myself blossoming there. I could see myself, like falling in love there. I could see myself getting married there. I could see myself starting a family there. This building is perfect. This neighborhood is perfect. This coffee shop is my vibe and coffee shop. It was $320,000, right? Which is a lot because I was 20, right? It was 19 or 20 years old. It's a lot. It's a lot. You know, I'd worked really hard, but that would be everything I've saved for and a massive mortgage. And I'm up against the wall and I'm in university, right? Like I gotta balance work and university. This is hard. So I put in a low ball offer on a prayer. I offered 298. It went for 346. 346. So somebody went over and they had deliberately listed under, and my offer wasn't even close. Over the years, I would sometimes pass by that building and I would see it because obviously lofts are very differently designed from the outside. And I would see it and I would see it and I would just imagine like, oh, I wish, you know. I bought another place. It was very cheap. The place I bought was a nice 2-bedroom. I'm happy with it. It's where I currently live. It was $152,000 at the time. I know you're thinking like, Rob, do you live in a closet? No, it's a pretty spacious place. Property values were a lot lower back then. So it was half the price. And, you know, my real estate agent at the time, you know, was a good guy, but he gave me some bad advice. And I listened, and it was my fault. And he said, what's more important to you? Loving your apartment or getting a good night's sleep? And just not having that constant anxiety, because it seems like you're going to freak out. And I said, I think I want the good night's sleep. So I didn't take the risk. Okay. The condo that's $150,000 went up in valuation quite a bit, as all property values did, right? It went up to the valuation of 400-ish. Okay, cool. That's not bad. You live in a place that goes up $250,000. That's $250,000. That's not bad. That's pretty good. Do you know how much that fucking loft went up? It sold for $340,000. The other month, almost identical loft in that building sold for 1.1. So what was the fear? What was the fear? The fear was that maybe I won't be able to pay it. I won't be able to pay my mortgage. They'll take my house. The bank will take my house. I'll be homeless. I'll be in debt. I'll have to take a line of credit. I won't be able to afford it. The economy might go really bad. These were fears. And I didn't have anything to fall back on. I didn't have like parents who were alive to help me out. I didn't have a wife that could support me in case I lost my job or anything like that. I didn't know if my business ideas were going to work out. And so I chose the life of comfort. In 2015, that's another one. You know, I had 2014, I had another opportunity to pick up a place at Carlaw and Broadview. And it was pretty decent. It was nice. I think it was very undervalued. And I looked at it and I was like, no, I don't know. And I found a way. And then it went up double in value. So once again, this is another risk I don't take in my life. But you know, in 2015, I took a risk. I started a film production company. I was scared. I didn't know what I was doing, but I took the risk. Changed my life. In 2017, I started a film festival without even knowing what I was doing. And once again, took on a lot of, you know, tasks and workload and money and all that stuff. And it went really well. And I'm not saying that every risk you take is going to work out, but I'm saying that if you don't take the risk, you're not really ever going to know. Okay. So it's perfectly fine if today you want to sit here and catastrophize over what might happen in 2033 or 2031 or whatever. It's perfectly fine if you want to catastrophize on that. Say, oh my God, this fetus, you know, this sixth grader right now, that's amazing. You don't know. You really don't know. Drafts are getting like maybe it's amazing, right? Brandon Carlson has agreed to a 1-year, $2.5 million deal to sign with the Portland Trail Blazers. Shout outs. I wonder what that means for the long-term future of Hanson Yang. They have like 5 centers on that roster now. It's weird. Raw Milk Man 69 said Lakers to sign Mamu. Yeah, that feels right. Okay, so honestly, I'm pretty much against this concept of trading away more picks unnecessarily. I'm not seeing any Mamu news. Are you guys seeing Mamu news? Dahomey Choi said, Kawhi will ball out for y'all. He's literally coming off his best season. Thank you, Lawrence Frank. You might be a Clippers fan if you're saying this, but yeah. Trade for Kalal Ware. Ideas for more moves, says James Mack. I don't think you can trade for Kalal Ware, dude. I don't think you're going to trade for Kalal Ware. I don't think you have the assets for it. I don't think that's the right fit. I don't think he's a playmaker. Moral Browser became a YouTube member. Thank you, Moral Browser. Appreciate you very much for becoming a YouTube member. Maybe a weird take, says Johnny A. But are the Raptors better by simply removing BI and Grady, assuming everyone else is healthy? Less shot takers, clearer roles, etc. It's one way to look at it. Now, net rating would tell you the Raptors were better with Grady Dick on the court than Brandon Ingram. Your eye test would tell you neither was perfect. Both were overpaid. Both had some issues defensively at times. Kawhi is a mountains, leap years type of better defender than anything Grady Dick or Brandon Ingram will ever be, even for the next 2 years as he regresses. Like, I can tell you, I watched Scottie Pippen when he was 39 years old. Still a really good defender. Not a bad system defender. Was he as twitchy as he used to be? No, but he's still good. You've established a new floor. Mark 5775 Z8R said the addition of Kawhi Leonard will ascend Scottie Barnes to superstardom. His presence alone. There's something to be said about you becoming the amalgamation of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I've certainly found this to be the case. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting more texts about this. Oof. I apologize. I know this is very rude. I feel like I'm being one of those millennials looking down at my phone. Okay. There you go. Nope. Nothing worse coming your way. I just want to be clear. I had the pick thing because I was doing my live. That's why I couldn't have it. But to be clear, I had this pick thing from 2 different sources. Let me give you a timestamp on this. 5:03, 4:58. So two independently verified sources. 2031, 2033 firsts. Swap next year. 2. That's crazy. I wish I'd looked at my phone when I was off. Shit. I would honestly, that's why I said I was checking out my people, right? Like I was just looking, I was just seeing like, are the people that I want to be happy about this? It was just a celebratory thing. I thought job over, right? But apparently job not fucking over because Clutch Points can't report his fucking news. God damn, man. People around the league believe Sandro Mamukelashvili is headed to the Lakers. The Lakers have $50 million in cap space. They can split it between several players. I'm assuming the idea here is to either split it between Mamu and Jalen Duren or Walker Kessler, Peyton Watson, and Mamu. But the Walker, Kessler, and Peyton Watson parts are hard because those guys are restricted free agents and their teams can take like a pretty long time to match, right? So you're in a weird situation with that, in my opinion. Yeah, I really do agree with this though. Like, I think it's going to be great for Scotty's development. Maybe a weird take. Yeah. So I was answering this. Sorry to have a little bit of ADHD on this live. So the numbers would say the Raptors were better last year with Ingram on the bench. My eyes said Ingram made life easier for Scotty and RJ, right? Significantly. Again, unquantifiable quantifiables. Ingram changes, Kawhi changes the seriousness level of your organization completely. Okay. There is a different air in the room when that dude is there. 100%. Canadian What said, tough to lose Mamu now, brings an important dynamic. For sure. But I mean, like, honestly, like, you don't think Jacoby's going to be better next year? That's literally that's his hero. That is his hero. So he's going to have a firsthand look at how his hero works, how his hero practices, how his hero prepares for a game. Alan Graves does what Mamu does. Samson had an entire film breakdown on Alan Graves. I also had a interview with Alan Graves' coach over at associate head coach of the Santa Clara Broncos. It was a good listen. Gives you an idea of where Alan's coming from and how good he is and stuff. I think Kawhi's really going to like Alan Graves. Kawhi's really going to like CMB. It just fits. It fits. Okay. And honestly, like, how do I say this? There's a level of seriousness that's on this team right now. And I'm not just talking about the contention window or anything like that. There's like been some murmurs around the Raptors this past year that maybe, some guys didn't bring the same level of intensity and seriousness to practices as they would have liked. So, okay, you got Kawhi Leonard. It's different. Ben, do you feel comfortable starting CMB at the 5? No, absolutely not. I feel very good closing games with him at the 5, but putting him into a situation where he has to play the 5 permanently, I feel like is a bit of a disadvantage for him. And frankly, Colin Murray-Boyles and Scotty Barnes spacing for Kawhi is a spacing nightmare with RJ Barrett. You need to add shooting to this team in the worst way possible. Because, hey man, like, Swiper was right. Kawhi does struggle with passing at times. He really does. And that 2019 team had a spacing big backed up by a spacing big, Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka. They had shooters on every corner. OG, Pascal in the corner was shooting 37%. You had Danny Green, you had Fred VanVleet, you had Kyle Lowry. You need to change this roster and add more shooting. 100%. Now, I trust RJ to knock down a corner, catch and shoot. Scotty, CMB, catch up, right? No Kizzy said Kawhi has become a better playmaker. I agree with you 100%. He's become a little bit better. Miles Turner. Everyone who wants Miles Turner hasn't actually had Miles Turner on their team. He's tough. I think Jalen Smith wouldn't be the worst idea from Chicago as a backup big, but you already traded Grady Dick. So it's tough. He's better than Yak. Who's better than Yak? Miles Turner? Are we kind of like underselling how good Jakob Poeltl, RJ Barrett, and Emmanuel Quickley are because we're just like so obsessed with our new toys that we just can't appreciate what a solid basketball player is? Jakob Poeltl is a solid center in the NBA. He's not a top 10 center. He's good. He's a good player. If he's healthy, he's a really good player. Overpaid? Hell yes, overpaid. But good player. RJ for Trey Murphy using our immediate draft capital. I don't think Trey Murphy is the finishing. I don't think Trey Murphy is the finishing touch on this team. He's a good player. If it was available for RJ and a pick, I'd do it in a heartbeat. But I think right now you have to get creative and you have to start looking at options like Max Strus. You know, you can get creative. This is not going to be an easy fix. It's not going to be like a 1-for-1 swap. 319 gift with the second super chat of the night. 399, 699. Sorry to shortchange you there. 699 Canadian. We need a jersey rebound for the Kawhi return. Also, worst case scenario, down the road, a couple of young players develop and we recoup a pick or two. Certainly possible. Certainly possible. You know, there are plenty of teams right now that are currently going out and living out the existence of having traded their future assets. It seems that the Clippers, who traded away a lot of, future first round picks, are sitting there like, damn, this is the way to fleece a team. We're going to fleece them. You ever say like you take on the identity of your abuser? You've heard that statement? You take on the identity of your abuser. Okay. Well, who is the abuser here? The OKC Thunder took the LA Clippers to the woodshed and beat them over the head with it. Okay. So, that's one part of it. Oh, shoot. Kobe Sanders has agreed to a 4-year, $11.2 million deal to return to the LA Clippers. Yeah, this is something like what the Raptors should have done with Jamison Battle, but they didn't. Okay. And former Raptor, as reported, Brendan Carlson has agreed to a 1-year, $2.5 million deal with the Portland Trailblazers. That is effectively a minimum contract. I believe that you have something close to Brendan Carlson on your roster already in Nate Biddle. I think Nate Biddle's pretty close to Brendan Carlson. Might be a better defender than him too. So, 9, yes. So we just don't know, man. You found Fed VanVleet in the undrafted heap. Second round picks are becoming more valuable. I don't know. Development is critical. Culture is great. We're in a good place. Look, I have lived through the Jakob Poeltl trade. The Kawhi trade is not going to faze me at all. I refuse to let y'all ruin my day. It's overpay for sure. But you know what? This would be like paying $340,000 for that loft. I would have felt the sting of it. Or maybe it would have been like paying $380,000 for that loft, if I'm being honest. Yeah, it's expensive, but like shit, I don't know why people think of this like 2K. Like, what do you think Steph Curry would go for right now? He's 39 years old. What do you think Miami, if they could afford Steph Curry right now, if they had all the picks in the world to trade for him, if they hadn't traded for Giannis, what do you think Miami is trading right now to bring Steph Curry to South Beach for 2 years, 3 years? Let's say he guarantees them he's going to play 3 more years. What do you think they're offering? I am going to guarantee you they offer at least 4 first-round picks for Steph Curry. Top-end talent, it's too much, man. Johnny A., how do you think the Raptors players feel about this trade? Specifically, IQ, RJ, Yak, and Scotty. I don't know how IQ feels about it because I don't know anybody close to IQ. I don't know how RJ feels about it, but I'm sure he's excited because he's a Toronto Raptor fan in 2019. And I'm sure Jakob Poeltl is excited about it because he's a really good basketball player who's smart, who understands Kawhi Leonard is way better. Scotty specifically, I can't tell you. Can't tell you Scotty specifically. But everybody else around Mama Barnes, okay, or specifically Mama Wilkins, everybody ups. Everybody's up. Everybody's excited. And I'm sure the guy who once said he would dream to play next to Scotty Barnes, next to Kawhi Leonard, isn't upset that the team just traded for Kawhi Leonard. Yeah. So that is where we're at. Vegan Grass said, LeBron as 6th man, we win it all. Man, come on. LeBron is not coming out the bench for the Toronto Raptors. He would start immediately. RJ would come off the bench in that situation. No, the Raptors need more pull-up shooting. And again, this roster would have balanced out completely if they found a way to get Bennett Sturts, but they didn't get Bennett Sturts. And so now this is where you're at. And again, just because he's not the greatest passer, don't discount the fact that Kawhi does make people way better. Like, you're going to have easier time getting offensive rebounds playing off of him. And I think Allen Graves and Kawhi Leonard work really well together as a 3-4 combo or even a 4-5 combo. It's a very versatile roster that you have. Yeah, you haven't completely thought this through, but like, if you're thinking about it, Mikal Bridges, right? Coming out of Brooklyn, Desmond Bane, coming out of Memphis, Kawhi Leonard, off the fucking. Let me put it this way: the gap between the first best player, the second best player, third best player, Kawhi is closer to Wemby than Desmond Bane is to Kawhi, as we last saw it. Kawhi Leonard is closer to Michael Jordan than Desmond Bane is to Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is closer to LeBron James than Bam Adebayo is to Kawhi Leonard. It is a really, really, really sharp bet that he can sustain this, what he's done. Exactly. So, look, people remember that Mikal Bridges trade and they say, okay, well, you know, they traded this and they traded that and oh my God, and it led to a championship. This is the price of doing business. Ibrahim said, I know you happy, Pen. You got a legit top 5 player now. Wait till you see my propaganda tomorrow on PC when I try to tell y'all that we got 2 top 5 players now. We're going to take over the whole damn league. I'm just kidding. I know Scotty's not a top 5 player right now. But Scotty's legit. Scotty is legit. Scotty was a lock on almost everybody who actually didn't get to vote all NBA ballot. Okay, I'll see your question. I'll raise you a question. When's the last time the Toronto Raptors had 2 all NBA players on the same team? I'll wait. Why don't you let me know? When is the last time the Toronto Raptors legitimately had 2 top 15 players in the league? Now you get it. That's exactly it. Yeah, that could be the master stroke. Vince and Tracy, maybe. Not even close. Not even close. Not even close. If they'd stayed together one more year, yes. But Tracy McGrady, the year he left Toronto, was not a top 15 player in the league. But by the way, that's exactly what people felt that the Raptors missed out on. The opportunity to have 2 top 15 players. Now, I want to remind you that Kawhi Leonard went to LA to play with Paul George, who he thought was a dynamic, good playmaking, off-ball wing. He's coming back to Toronto to play with the exact same player. Except this player isn't named Paul George. This player is named Scotty Barnes. Now, I want you to think about Scotty Barnes. I want you to think about Kawhi Leonard. And I know that Kawhi Leonard is a little bit older and Scotty's a little bit younger. But split the difference. This is basically the same thing. Okay? I mean, it's not exactly the same thing, but it's veering on that level. And the difference here is, unlike the Clippers, you didn't gut your entire roster to get Kawhi. You didn't gut all your future assets to get Kawhi. I don't think this is a bad deal at all. The more I sleep on it, the more I think about it, I'm just like, I know the Raptors overpaid, but again, it's that loft that you really want, right? For a little bit more than you were willing to pay. But it's going to change your life. That loft is going to fucking change your life. Okay. It does not look like we're getting news right now. It is almost 8 o'clock. Been live since 4 o'clock. This is 4 hours of streaming after 3 hours of streaming on the panel. I'm a little bit tired. I am a little bit tired. I'm thinking of taking a break. It is so hot in here, dude. This is like, basically, I am in a windowless room. It is hot. The minute I open this room, it will let the cool air in, but also, like, okay, I'm taking a break. I am taking a break. Damn it. I am not a machine. I am a man, and I am taking a break. It is hot as hell. I want to drink some water. I'm actually going to play this Kawhi interview. I don't care if y'all want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see it while I'm drinking water. Okay. Please, Lord, do not let me get copyright strike for this. Wait. It's done? No. Right as I was about to go on a water break. Dude. That didn't happen. You said per Windhorse. Where is it? Oh, shit. Whoa. This is not necessary. Mamu played really well for us. I don't like this, like, throwing people under the bus shit on the way out. Like, you do whatever the hell you want. Nice win, whatever makes you float. Mamu played his ass off on a minimum contract. On TV, he said it's probable. I'm assuming. Yeah. Okay. Someone said playoff choker, though. Honestly, the playoffs were not a long... I mean, you could make an argument. Everybody who didn't do well in the playoffs is not... Like, the Raptors have basically nixed them all, and everyone who did well in the playoffs is back. So maybe the Raptors viewed the playoffs as a way to decide who was staying and who was going, and Emmanuel quickly knew that, so he decided to fucking not play, because he would have been gone too. Okay. Okay. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, bro, I need to take a break. But I'm going to play this Kawhi interview for you in the back, because we need to listen to what Kawhi said he would do so that we can compare it to when we listen to his second press conference. Yes.
So there you go.
Ask something.
Sorry, next.
Right. Kawhi, Paul Jones, the Raptors broadcast crew. What was your initial thoughts when you heard you'd been traded to Toronto?
Excited, knowing I'm coming to a great city that loves basketball, great organization, and happy that Danny was coming with me as well.
Mike?
Kawhi, Michael Grange from Sportsnet. You got me? Okay. I mean, you played your whole career for Greg Popovich in the Western Conference. What are you personally curious about or excited about when it comes to changing teams, changing conferences, changing coaches? That's a lot of new stuff.
Like I said, I'm excited about the city, knowing that they're a basketball city. Their fans come out, show a lot of energy, and just be able to get on the next journey.
You're over there.
Vivek Jacob, Raptors Republic. Kawhi and Danny, what excites you the most about this roster, about the guys that are already on there?
Included me. Okay. I was wondering if I was going to get to talk today. You know what I'm saying? The roster, I'll take this one since Kawhi took the others. I'm excited about, playing with a lot of the young guys. The last couple of years in San Antonio, we've had a very mature group. I won't call them old, but we had some older guys, which experience, but it's a different role for me being the vet in the locker room, and the oldest guys like me, Kyle, CJ. We're in our young 30s, but I'm excited to play with a younger group of guys, getting up and down, faster pace, and also be able to play with another passing big and Valanciunas. So, but we're a very deep team, a lot of threats, a lot of good pieces, and I'm excited to see how everybody fits in and how well we can play together.
Danny, for you personally, you talked about not really being healthy last year. How are you feeling coming into this?
Feeling pretty good right now. The training staff has done a wonderful job with helping me get to where I'm at right now. We're going to stay on top of it, continue to stick to the process of keeping the body right. That's the biggest key for the whole season. And hopefully I can sustain that and play a healthy season all year.
Eric
Corrine, The Athletic. Welcome to both Kawhi and Danny. Kawhi, where are you at physically, and what was your work like this summer as you progress towards full health?
Right now, I'm feeling great. Ready to play basketball throughout the summer. Worked on my body. Took it step by step. Just getting fully healthy, getting ready to make this extra step this season.
Question back there.
Kawhi, Tom Orsborn with the San Antonio Express News. What specifically went wrong for you in San Antonio, and Did you lose faith with the medical staff, and are you disappointed, or do you have any regrets about what happened?
I have no regrets, but I want to focus on this team, this journey that we have in front of us today, and just stay in the present time and not look back.
What's up, Tom? How you doing, man? You knew that was coming.
Right.
I have a question, Bruce Arthur at the back.
Bruce Arthur, Toronto Star here in the back row for Kawhi. Every superstar in this league has a set of goals in terms of how they want their career and life to look, and what they want by the time their career is over to have accomplished and where they want to have accomplished it. What do you want out of your career in the NBA?
Just to be able to be healthy. I mean, that's my number one goal. Play a long, healthy, career, able to be dominant wherever I land. And that's about it. I want to win championships, getting those record books.
Danielle.
Danielle, City News at the back here. Kawhi, have you had a chance to talk to some of your new teammates, and what have they told you about the city and playing in Toronto?
I got to talk to a few of them. They just said Toronto is a great city, beautiful, a lot to do outside of basketball with your family. And, they're just excited for the season as well. That's what we all are. We have opportunity, like I was saying before. And, we're ready to get started.
Doug?
Danny, it's Doug Smith again from the Toronto Star. We'll let you talk.
Okay, he's my man. All right.
We're going to ask you about Kawhi. You know him better than anybody here.
You think?
What do you think? Yeah.
I think he knows him better than anybody here. But
well, not among us. What kind of guy is he, and what your people know about him?
Like I said, the way he described it, he's a fun guy, but you have to know him, you have to be around him. Different in the locker room than he is with you guys. But so his main focus is basketball. He loves it. He puts the hours and he puts the work in. There's a reason why he's as good as he is, and we're all expecting big things from him. We're expecting big things from everybody on this team, myself included. But my biggest goal for me is to carry on and hopefully continue to be that tangent we were in San Antonio, to bring it here and help these younger guys understand what it takes to get to that final stage. So, but Kawhi, you see him, he's having a good time out here right now. He's not enjoying you guys, but he's being himself.
One follow-up, if I may. You've had a relationship with Masai that's gone back quite a few years.
Yeah.
I think a Denver time, a rookie camp.
Even before that.
How has that evolved, and how important is it for you to come here with Masai in charge?
Man, since my draft 2009, it's been some while. So about 9 years now. I remember seeing him here when I had my workout in Toronto. Then when he was in Denver. Now he's back here. When the trade happened, he called me. It's been a long time coming. But over the years, seeing where he's come from, where he's gone, and grown, and him watching me doing the same, and be able to link up at this time, I think is very special. And hopefully we can continue to make it a special year and have some fun with it. But we've been looking forward to this day for some time now.
Alan?
Hi, Alan Carter from Global News. Kawhi and Danny, welcome to Toronto.
Thank you.
Toronto sports fans and Canadian sports fans have experience with stars not wanting to come and play in our cities and on our teams. Perhaps, Kawhi, you can address whether or not you want to play here and whether you think you can make a home here in Toronto.
I want to play here. As long as I have on a jersey, I want to play basketball. I came here with an open mind. I want to do great things. So I'm going to make sure that, I put my all effort on the court each and every night. And, by winning games, this is how you, get star caliber players to want to come here and play.
Steve.
Kawhi, Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun, to your left. Here. Since the trade was made, the question has sort of centered all over the basketball world, but certainly in this city, about whether this would be a long-term commitment for you or a one-year, one and done. How do you view your time coming in here, and do you look at this as a long-term commitment?
I look at it as a day-to-day process. like I said, my focus is on this year, this group that I have, and striving to get to a championship. We all want to win, and if you're looking in the future, you're gonna, trip over the present. So, this is what I'm focused on: is this year, tomorrow, and just keep going after that.
Josh.
Josh Lewenberg, TSN. First of all, welcome, guys. Kawhi, have you had a chance to speak with Kyle yet? And how do you think he can help make you a better player? How do you think you can help make him a better player?
Just experience, telling us each other like what we've both been through. Him already playing in the East, and going through this schedule this season, and just in my experience of how we got deep in the playoffs, won championships. Danny could also help us with our conversation. That's about it. We just got to keep asking each other questions, and once we play together, that's where you learn the most from each other.
Rachel.
Rachel Brady from the Globe and Mail over here. This is a question for Danny. I'm wondering how well you know Kyle. I know you guys kind of shared some time together sort of around the high school circuit years ago.
Yeah, me and Kyle kind of grew up and played in the same area, the Northeast. He's a Philly guy. I'm in New York. So we played together against each other on many different occasions, camps. And he also went to Nova. I went to Carolina. He left early. But we've gone back some time, and I've known and played against Kyle for just since high school days. And he's always been a tough, he's been a bull. This is probably the first time I've been on his team, and I'm excited about it. He's a great player. He's good at what he does. He knows how to get guys involved. He knows how to make his teammates better. And I'm sure over the past couple of years, he's become a great leader. So, we had Tony in San Antonio, who was also great. But, Kyle is a different type of, point guard, and I'm interested in looking forward to playing with him.
Mike.
Kawhi, Michael Grange again from Sportsnet. How important to you is it to have Danny Green here? What does he bring in terms of your experiences winning championships, going to finals together? What do we look forward to?
He's a competitor on both ends of the floor. Wants to shut down his man when he's guarding him. Also very smart, sees things before it comes. And, just having a player like that went down and, deep playoff runs with, it only gives you, more confidence, knowing that you guys see the same things on the floor. And, just having a familiar face here is great.
Greg.
Kawhi, what has this organization and Masai, what have they done to try and sell you on this city? And Masai, maybe you can answer that as well, because I think you mentioned that you would have this year to try and sell Kawhi on staying here long term. So if you could start, Kawhi, and just what has this organization done to try and sell you on Toronto?
He's just telling me that they want to win. That's all you want from our organization.
And we did.
Just saying, you guys having the same path and same mindset of, trying to get to a certain goal.
We talk about basketball. I think I want people to know, that.
I just want to say something. You're not going to get this. You're not going to get this level of charismatic. You're going to get Bobby Webster looking really smug like he did something. So it's nice to hear Masai Ujiri talk sometimes.
I'm getting to know Kawhi. He's a basketball guy. Danny's a basketball guy, and they're basketball junkies. Kyle is a basketball junkie, and I think I'm
going to clarify one more time for the people in the back and the people in the cheap seats. Hang on one second. Let me pull up exactly what I said. Y'all keep misquoting me, trying to invalidate what I said. Said exactly what was. Okay, hang on. Where are we at? Okay. Let's go to the reporting, shall we? Because all this shit is recorded. Okay. Here is what I wrote 5 hours ago. Just pure ego at this point, ego and bad business ethics. As much as I'm rooting for this to close in the next 2 hours, I appreciate Toronto holding firm on their offer. The downside With Kawhi, significant extending a player past 60 million, 3 years past his 35th birthday with his injury history is absolutely a gamble. So I am firm that I would not be okay offering 3 first-round picks. Where the hell is what I wrote? Where? I'm pretty sure I wrote this earlier. I was just reading it. Where the hell did I write it? There we go. As reported yesterday, Toronto is reluctant to part with picks beyond 2030. The Clippers are prioritizing the 2031 pick. Wonder if Toronto concedes 2031 plus 2027 swap. My read on this was probably going to always take 2 picks. So the only part of this that I did not get right is they added a 2033 as a sweetener. Now, that's not a sweetener. That is an absolute punch yourself in the face. You really negotiated a deal with the devil here. No, that's not what I said. I said that's what the Raptors were offering. And I also clarified that's not what the Clippers wanted. Here's the thing, man. I'm not Shams Charania. I'm not Brian Windhorse. I don't know when I'm going to have the inside scoop on a story again. This is the biggest trade in Toronto Raptors history after the initial Kawhi trade. So, yeah, I mean, I worked my ass off. I barely slept for the last 3 hours. I've streamed 1 million hours. I'm giving y'all everything I could possibly share on this that was sourced. So, yes, I do not want somebody coming in here and saying I was wrong. I was absolutely accurate on the ground of what happened. Now, was I 100% accurate on what happened? How many assets went out? 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 ain't bad, man. That's 80%. I'm shooting better from the free throw line than you are. Come on. It's really not that bad. Why would you quote Siegel reports? You talking about me? Oh, okay. So earlier in this live, that's what people are getting wrong. Yes. Somebody said in the chat that it was 2027 and 2029. And because I had to jump on this live, I did not have a chance to call anybody or confirm anything. All I knew is the Kawhi it was done. Pull this up. It's from Pablo Torre. One reminder about Kawhi plus Toronto. Outgoing Raptors owner Larry Tannenbaum is chairman of the NBA's Board of Governors, per Michael Grange. It will be Tannenbaum who will presumably have a voice in what, if any, sanctions are leveled against Ballmer and the Clippers. I hope they dock them all the picks they just took from the Raptors. That would be great. Please, Larry, come through for us. And that would be such a fleece. That would be so funny. That would make my life. No, actually, the penalty for tampering is you give back Toronto's 2031, 2033, and your own 2032, but you can keep the 2027 swap. That would be amazing. That's a conflict of interest. You think that I give a shit about your moral play on conflict of interest when we are talking about a team that A, tampered to get Kawhi, B, committed fraud to sign his contract, and C, just negotiated one of the worst negotiations ever in Raptors history. They held Bobby over the fire in the final hour. They're just like, yep. Oh, no. Add more picks. Okay. Fuck. Do it. Please do it. Dock them every fucking first round pick they have. I hate that organization. I promise. I do not like the Clippers as an organization for what they did in this trade and everything involving Kawhi. I am happy he's away from that organization as a player that I just genuinely like. Death 4K is calling in. Death 4K, what's up, man?
How's it going, Rob?
Are you drinking beer?
I got a spirit drink, but I didn't want to show the label because...
Is it water?
No, this is a spirit drink.
Oh, dope. Because I was gonna say it's in my country, it's very, very bad to toast with water. So that's good.
Oh yeah, no.
Drink. Let's
Cheers
go.
to you. Cheers to the best day of I think a Raptors like off-season moves.
Facts. We got Coach Mo. We haven't heard from Coach Mo in a minute. What's up?
Nostradamus. What's going on, baby?
It's Penstradamus. And
Penstradamus.
did you know that I don't get my Penstradamus tag because we gave up an extra pick? My bad.
So
it's all good.
Can you remind me of the exact specifications of the picks?
2031, 2033, 2027 swap. Worst between, I think it was Denver, OKC, and Toronto.
So what are are there any protections, or they're all unprotected?
According to, okay, I've heard nothing about protections from anybody.
Okay.
So we're assuming they're unprotected. Maybe later we'll get a little bit of a glimmer of hope and say, oh, 2033 is top 4 protected or something like that. But it does not feel like the Raptors issued protected.
Which lets me know the Raptors really wanted this done.
Oh, for sure. But do you blame them?
No, because running back that roster wasn't gonna happen at all.
Okay. So I'm gonna let's play a game here. I want to get your honest take on this. And by the way, thank you for calling in to both of you. But both of you, I would like your honest take on this. If Dennis Schroeder is Brandon Ingram, who is Kawhi Leonard?
If Dennis Schroeder is
I only bring up Dennis Schroeder because I know you had some very strong thoughts about him. But
yeah.
Give me the
As
scale.
a player comp or like levels?
No, just
like
the gap.
the level,
The
like the gap.
Yeah, the gap between Dennis Schroeder and, I would say,
Impact wise, if we're talking about prime, I'd say like Shaq.
Damn,
No,
that's
like
crazy.
level difference.
No, I
That's
wouldn't
crazy.
go that far.
I would say probably, I want to say Kyrie.
That's fair.
I want to say Kyrie.
That's
That's
fair.
the gap. That's the gap.
It's a big gap. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we watched the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, Ingram
Even-
was hurt.
I know. I'm just saying, a hobbled Kawhi is giving you more than that.
Mm-hmm.
A hobbled Kawhi is not being guarded by Max Strus, Sam Merrill. It ain't happening. It ain't happening.
Hobbled Kawhi is not getting one-on-one guarded by Dean Wade. Like
Yes,
nobody's guarding that dude,
agreed.
and especially not getting top locked. So yeah, I mean, shout outs to my guy Cheap Seats, man. He probably takes the cake as the biggest BI hater in the Raptor space. Period. I've never seen someone talk so passionately about how much they don't like Brandon Ingram. I'm happy for him. I looked at his X page, and he gave the Raptors, I think, an A-, and then he found out about the picks and he gave it a B+, but then he gave the Clippers a lower grade. I'm actually on the other end. I gave the Clippers a higher grade on this than the Raptors, but I'm still happy. Where do you guys
So
stand
it's a
on
31 and 33 unprotected and 2 seconds and a swap, which is really, like you said yesterday, swap is really nothing in this.
Yeah. I mean, I think Phoenix Plays Ed is making a very good point. So I'm actually I'm gonna further hammer the point by pulling up last year's actual EPM. Okay. So this is crazy. But here's how EPM saw the league last year in terms of best players in the NBA. Okay. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at a 9.3 EPM. That's an estimated plus minus. Victor Wembanyama had a 8.7. Nikola Jokic, 8.1. Giannis Antetokounmpo, in the minutes he played, few games, 7.4. Does anyone on earth deny that those are the 4 best players on the planet? They are, right? Like, we can all agree on that. Kawhi was number 5 at 6.6. Luka was 6.6. Ty Jerome played 15 games. I'm not even counting him. Chet Holmgren, 6.0. Donovan Mitchell, 5.0. Steph Curry, 5.0. Jalen Duren, 4.6. LaMelo Ball, Cade Cunningham. These stats are not perfect. I have to scroll pretty far down. Brandon Ingram is not even the first Brandon on this list. Brandon Miller is at 3.5. Let's see if he's a second Brandon on this list. We're past Jalen Brunson. We're past Donovan Clingan.
Well, I don't think anyone's questioning the upgrade though. Like everyone knows.
No, but what he's trying to
I think
the gap in the upgrade, like how big the gap is on this upgrade.
because like look, man,
It's massive, bro.
what you just paid for is the upgrade.
Yes.
So I'm trying to figure out what you just paid for. I've gone off the page and Ingram has not shown up. We continue to go down. Come on, man. Where are we?
Well, okay, this is the thing. I think you said
Like
this.
we've
earlier
gotten
on
into
the stream.
Dalen Terry. We've gotten into Dalen Terry territory, and we still have not gotten to Brandon Ingram. Are we? My God. We just ran out of players? No. Oh shit. Sorry. I was looking at estimated win shares. Where the fuck is Ingram?
You can search him up.
I know. I just want to I want to find him because it's fun that way. I just want to see like what range he fell into in terms of EPM. Okay, so it was much more
Control F.
No, I know how to find. I'm just saying, like, and there's also a search player bar there.
Yeah, he
I'm just trying to see like what range of player he fell into.
And you can
Okay,
also see the players that would be ahead of him or his range.
Yeah, so we're going up.
Yeah. I don't want to like pile on the Brandon Ingram thing, but I was pretty much after the season was over, I was
found
pretty
him.
much done.
I found him.
Yeah, here
He's right behind Caleb Houston, Christian Brown, right ahead of Anthony Black, Matas Buzelis, Anthony Simons.
Jacoby Walters ahead of him.
Jacoby Walter had a higher EPM than him. So did Scotty. So does Jakob. So does RJ. Literally, yeah. Like, here's the thing: when I was on PC and I was, pushing for Brandon Ingram to make All-Star team stuff, a part of me like also conceded at the time he's not an All-Star. I just want him to make it because he's one of my favorite players. But like, people have to understand there's a really, really big gap here.
Yep.
Really big gap. Now, here's the thing that people don't want to know. And this is the thing maybe people want to be like, might make people uncomfortable. If you don't trade for Brandon Ingram in the first place, you probably don't get Kawhi this way. But if you don't trade for Brandon Ingram, is it possible that you end up with a lottery pick and then you can use that to get Brandon Ingram, that you can use that to get Kawhi? I don't know. But apparently in this deal, the Clippers prioritized any deal that was bringing them back stability in terms of roster balance. And it just so happens, someone's saying AJ Lawson. What? Oh, people are looking at the EPM shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's right there.
He's in AJ Lawson territory. I mean, we're looking at players ahead of him: Jabari Smith Jr., Keldon Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu, Dylan Harper, of course, Davion Mitchell. My God, Davion Mitchell. We dumped him for a second-round pick. Colin Murray Boyles, Cedric Howard, who was a fucking rookie last year, Jalen Tyson, Bones Highland, Brooke Lopez, Gary Payton II, who was going to sign a minimum contract. TJ McConnell was a backup guard. Again, this is not the be-all and end-all, and I'm very aware that Brandon Ingram's game is not liked by analytics, but my God, like we see the percentages, right?
Yeah.
So the only thing that Brandon Ingram and Kawhi Leonard really have in common is I wouldn't even say they're shot that. They're just really good corner shooters. That's the one thing they have in common. But in terms of like how their game gets off, it's very, yeah.
And the number of players that could guard Kawhi is a small number. Like,
oh yeah,
the amount of players that can make it difficult for Brandon Ingram. Like if we had Kawhi instead of Brandon Ingram, nobody could guard Scotty. We'd have two guys the Cavs could have nothing. They could do nothing with two guys.
Agreed.
Whereas they could fluster. A lot of people can fluster Brandon Ingram. I don't know how many people can fluster Kawhi Leonard.
That's not even getting the defense too. Like there's a level he can achieve where he doesn't even have to be the same offensive player. Like in a 7-game series, he can
guard the post.
Like impact you.
Right?
Yeah,
He can
exactly.
guard the post. Not in a pinch. He can't at all.
Are the Brooklyn Nets on crack? $18 million for 2 years for Keon Ellis. What?
They need a salary floor, no? They need to hit the
I mean, they do, but like, can't they do something better with their money? Like, I mean, okay, this is not great value, but I understand the short-term deal. This is kind of like what the Raptors did with Kelly Olynyk, like 2 years. I think it was like 21, 22 million.
That was dumber in my opinion. But
Is he even going to get minutes on that squad with those many guards?
Hey, man. I mean,
it's what players are doing now. It's like you just go to these bad teams and make a little bit more money. That's what Jalen Duren's trying to do, right? He's trying to go to the Kings.
Mm-hmm.
He's only doing that because they didn't want to pay him. I think
he's not worth anything near what he's asking for.
100%. But like
his playoff performance was embarrassing. You can't unsee that. That was bad.
Absolutely. Also, free agent guard Elijah Martin is expected to return to the Toronto Raptors on a standard NBA contract. League sources tell the Consensus NBA. Martin, who spent 2025-2026 on a two-way deal, is now poised to earn a full-time roster spot with Toronto. So I guess we're filling out cheap. Also, to everybody who remembers this little joke, I wasn't kidding. When I went to get my beer, I literally posted this joke.
So after this trade, I think we all assume there has to be more moves made
of course,
because we have like a 2-3 year window with this guy. We need a roster that can compete right now if you traded those picks. The one guy that stands out, because you're not trading Yak, at least not yet. I don't think you're trading IQ. He actually fits, and I think he's a bit overpaid. But the one guy is RJ. I think the only thing you can play with at this point is RJ. And you dangle RJ for a backup, a big.
Did you see the offers we were getting for RJ though, before the playoff performance?
And here's the problem with RJ to me. I don't know what the gap will be between RJ and Jacoby Walter heading into next season in terms of impact and fit with our two best players, right? If RJ is there, there's going to be this need that he closes every game. Because as this team stands right now, there are only two players that are going to close every game for us. That should close every game for us, barring
there's
something.
3. CMB. Yeah, I think Colin.
I'm just saying he's a second-year player. We don't know, but there are 2 guaranteeds. Last year, to me, there was only one guy that should close every game. Now we're at 2, which is great. If RJ's here, it's almost like the coach has to close with him, and IQ, I guess.
Kawhi coming in, I think changes that though. Like he played in the locker room with Fred and all those guys. Like he kind of put them in their place in a sense of like he has to get the ball, right? So I think RJ, if he's getting paid,
well, if he's
at
not
a right amount, like
sometimes you want.
Who else are you gonna get for him? Like that's the issue. The offers we were getting, like they weren't even willing to give up Sabonis. We had to give up a pick to get him.
I don't want that dude at all, but
like that's the offers. That's what we were getting, and I don't know if we're gonna get Malik Monk for.
I don't think Sabonis.
I actually have a question now. Would you revisit Sabonis now?
No.
Why?
No. I just.
What if it meant getting rid of Jakob Poeltl and RJ Barrett for Malik Monk and Domantas Sabonis?
Okay, now that's something I'd be interested in. But what else are we giving up?
We don't have anything else to give up.
Because I don't. No picks added. I don't think Sabonis is that good of an asset. What a day! I mean, this wasn't like a shock, but it was good. Build up was great.
I don't think much is needed for them. They're gonna have to wait and see salary caps and all that. I don't think we're gonna get any of the big names, but I don't think we need to get them anyways. I truly think we believe in our young talent. That's why we made this move.
Yeah, but we need shooting. That much is for sure.
I mean, how much of them letting Mamu go is because they believe in Graves with shooting? I don't think they need a lot of stuff.
I'm getting cooked on Clippers Twitter. Oh no. It's all good. Sam Quinn came out and said Kawhi Leonard grades, Clippers A+, Raptors C+. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, no, the Clippers won today, like in terms of what was exchanged. Yeah. considering the circumstances both teams were in.
No, but that's the same guy who said Brooklyn Nets won when they traded McHale.
Squeeze.
Or like Memphis won when they traded Bane.
They did.
They did, but like, we'll
Yeah,
have to see what
This
they draft.
is now a C+ for the Raptors and an A+ for the Clippers. There you go. So they got me saying that over on Clipperland, but they don't understand the grander context of that. Is just because we negotiated ourselves and we paid a little bit over does not mean I don't think. I hope you clipped the part where it said the Raptors lost the battle but won the war. Absolutely.
Yeah,
No,
and for the Clippers fans, how many years have they had Kawhi? Like 6?
7, 6, 7, yeah.
Okay. We're gonna do more. We're gonna get further than in like 2 years. I mean, we already went further in 1 year with him, so we already did it, but we're gonna do it again.
Made in Canada said, should the Raptors go out and get LeBron James to come play with Kawhi Leonard? What are we doing?
Where do you think LeBron's gonna go?
Golden State or Cleveland?
Cleveland or Golden State.
So no Heat reunion. You don't think that's gonna happen?
Hmm.
Him and Pat Riley hugged. There was a video I saw where they were hugging.
It doesn't make sense from a basketball perspective. LeBron, Bam, and like what is the basketball sense here?
I know. And Wiggins when they just
LeBron makes just as much sense in Miami right now as he does in Milwaukee. Shout outs to Ingram Alerts. It was nice to know you. I think you're pretty toxic and really weird. Made some really weird shit. So
that's a channel called Ingram Alerts.
Yep.
Guy, yeah.
I guess they're done. They have no more job, or are they going to they're a Clippers fan now?
They're Clippers fan. These Muse accounts and shit, they go from like place to place to place to place. You know, they just follow a guy around his whole career. Brandon Ingram, he was around for a good time. He wasn't around for a long time. So
I don't think anybody. I think you and I both believed he wasn't going to be here for long.
Yeah, I thought this was absolutely.
Bro, people hate him after the last playoff series. Like,
what is there to hate?
Yeah, I know.
The hate is such a strong word.
Yeah.
He tried. He played. Look, honestly, in all goodness, like people are so weird about Brandon Ingram. I you know what? I hate the way people talk about Brandon Ingram. I think it's ridiculous.
The amount of people that were saying that he quit on the team.
He did not quit on the
Game
team,
7.
and that's why I fought against that. He did not quit on the team. He was in a fucking walking boot. He was pushing through pain. If you couldn't see,
No, he wasn't. But
on
like,
his
I'm saying
foot,
the people who were saying that he was.
dude, I had a trainer hit me up, and he said, y'all better hope that he doesn't get permanently injured trying to play through this. Like, it's not. Like, I feel bad for Brandon Ingram, honestly.
Yeah.
I hate the way the fans like talked about him on his way out. Like, and by the way, I want to remind y'all. 7 months ago, 8 months ago, y'all were trying to tell me Brandon Ingram's better than Scotty Barnes. So please stop. Like,
I know.
Take your own seriousness and shove it up your ass. You know, that's
It's just the Toronto fans. Like, it's the Leaf fans and the Blue Jays fans that just like come in and they're pissed off about their original team.
Those two in the same uniform. Boy. Now, with the BI situation, I never said he quit. I never hated the guy. But one thing that I did feel strongly about after the season was over was I'm pretty much done with the BI experience. Now, if he comes back, he comes back. But I'm done with the BI experience.
Yeah. Ingram's cool. Ingram's a good dude. He worked really hard. He worked all, year to find a, forever home in Toronto. And now he's on his 4th team.
I don't think he'll ever find a forever home, but.
Yeah, I don't think the Clippers are going to be for him for a long time either. So this is just going to be like, bounce around, maybe end up in Brooklyn or something for some trade. You feel for the guy, because goodness gracious, like, man, how excited were Raptor fans when he got here?
Not as excited.
Incredibly. I mean, this is holding a different candle, like on a different planet. Okay.
Also, I want to say overpaying him ended up working out. We needed the salary. We needed every dollar he had in that contract.
I mean, to some extent, yeah. Samson said Raptors offense was operating with dial-up, and Kawhi Leonard has brought the advent of Wi-Fi to Toronto. I mean, that's definitely one way to put it. I think there was somebody else. I think it was a Loki who said the Raptors averaged 4.9 pull-up threes per game. Kawhi himself averaged 4 last year.
Yeah.
Like, this is a skill set that literally nobody on this team can do well, especially not RJ, especially not Jakob Poeltl, especially not Colin Murray-Boyles. Scotty Barnes can do it in a pinch, but not well enough to get you over
He's
one.
capable of doing it. The other guys,
Yeah,
aren't.
like
They shouldn't even
IQ, maybe like 1 or 2 a game maximum. Jacoby maybe has some skill set, maybe 1, 2. I don't know, but like, yeah.
He's just been there, done that.
So, closing lineups. The most often closing lineup.
This is the best. Sorry. Tally Amos said, changing my Wi-Fi name to Kawhi-Fi. I love this. This is amazing. I think this should be his nickname going forward. I know it's the claw. I know it's the closer. It's a lot of shit, but this is a good joke. And I'm going to stand by this. As a person with a good sense of humor, this is one of the better jokes that have been cracked in this chat all in the last 6 hours. Congratulations to you, Taylor Amos. That is good wordplay.
You know what?
Honestly, it's a little bit like a dad joke.
Mhm.
It's a little bit like a dad joke, but that's why it works.
You think New Balance is happy about this?
Fuck New Balance. I don't care. Why do I care about New Balance? It's for old people. New Balance is for like 70-year-olds. Sign with the wrong brand. He go sign with Jordan brand. That's what Kawhi really should do. He should sign with Michael Jordan's brand and learn to, like, I don't know, have some charisma or some shit. Sell some Jordan sneakers
Okay, I have a question.
with Jordan brand.
Which lineup, which 5-man lineup are you the most excited to see on the court together?
Scotty Barnes at the 1, Jacoby Walter at the 2, Kawhi Leonard at the 3, Colin Murray-Boyles at the 4, Alan Graves at the 5.
You think that'll happen? You think
the New York Twins are on the bench in this situation?
Do you think that would happen?
Absolutely, that lineup will play at least 5 minutes together, and those will be the best 5 minutes of my year. Yeah.
You really think Alan Graves, he's gonna get minutes? Like,
did you watch the interview with his coach?
A decent amount of it, yes.
I mean, that's the hope. The hope is that he's going to play. We'll see how it translates to Summer League. I'm not saying if he averages 15 in Summer League, he's suddenly going to play, but like it'll be a good step in the right direction. And you know what? Like this Grady thing, it kind of burns me because it's like, it sucks that we got it so wrong that we basically had to dump the guy 3 years later, but at least we didn't pay him.
Oh, God, thank God.
Can you imagine? Like,
yeah.
Oh, the Raptors extend Grady Dick for 3 years, 30. Imagine if he just played well enough to get that extension. 3 years, 35. 3 years, 40. 3 years, 50.
We're in a completely different situation from when Grady got drafted and when Jacoby got drafted and when Shed got drafted. It's like now, if you want minutes, you're actually gonna have to. So I think you're gonna have to be good. Like there are no free. There's not free development minutes. There's no more. Hey Grady, run around and just try, buddy. Those days are over.
You know who you sound like?
Who?
Fred VanVleet.
Yeah,
We've come full circle, bro. Me and you are unks now, and we're Fred VanVleet's territory.
The difference between me and Fred is the title window is not huge with Kawhi, so you can't just trot people out there for 15 minutes a night and have, you know what I mean? Now, I think Graves will be more impactful and ready to play over Grady, but this isn't no more 905 reps on the real team. Those days are over.
They're over last year.
Grady kept playing. I don't know. In the beginning of the year, they were doing it.
Yeah, but he got benched. You want AJ Lawson back?
No.
I
need.
You want Mo Bamba back? You want
how many
Markelle
more minutes?
Fultz back?
How many more minutes does Jameson Battle play this year? Like how many more? Like because he was break glass in case of emergency last year. What's his role this year?
He's a 10th, 11th guy.
So more minutes.
Sure.
Rob, what do you think of the school of thought that we should have traded for, use those picks for Jaylen Brown instead of Kawhi?
Hell no. I don't like Jaylen Brown. Ingram Alert's posting a picture of Brandon Ingram going up to DeMar DeRozan. This has such group therapy vibes to it. I'm not even kidding.
Oh yeah, that hug. Yeah.
It's like, do you know what's coming? Because I've been here before. They about to trade you, bro.
You know what he told Brandon Ingram right there? This was probably at the end of the regular season. He told him, yo, just don't play Vlad in the playoffs. Just don't do it, bro. And he did it. He's like, you're gone.
Yeah, Ingram's on that journeyman path now.
Yeah.
I don't see the Clippers keeping him for long.
No,
They might flip him.
He was salary to match, and yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, we end on this. We got to end on Coactus, bro.
Oh, yeah.
This guy's a legend.
What's with the plant, man? Where'd you get that? It's a housewarming gift for Kawhi. Oh, I see. He's staying. Does he know this yet? I'm waiting for him. I'm waiting. Have you seen him? I haven't seen him yet. I think he's somewhere in Oakland right now, celebrating his butt off. Well, when you see him, tell him I got a housewarming gift. Tell him I love him. I will. What kind of plant is that? Tell him thank you for the shot. What kind of plant is that? It's a plant for Kawhi. It's a Kawhi plant. It's a Kawhi plant. It's a Kawhi cactus. Have a good night, man. Coactus. Coactus. I like it. I like it. It's a plant guy says it's a coactus. I think plant guy. I think he's doing well. I think he's having a good night. Let's just put it that way. Coactus. It's a new species of plant.
How tall is this guy? Like 6'3"?
I think the guy who's interviewing is legitimately just 5'2", and it just makes everyone else look big because everyone else looks really huge around him, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But I did see Coactus guy. He was taller than me for sure.
Hold on.
So
You saw him in real life?
Yes, I saw Coactus guy in real life. He was walking around.
Coincidentally, just randomly.
Randomly, coincidentally, but if you saw him, you wouldn't miss him. Yes, I did see him.
Does he always get like is he a guy now? Just on the street, people are like, yo.
No, I saw him that night, bro. I was like right here.
Oh, okay.
I didn't just randomly see Coactus guy. No, I saw him that night. I remember seeing him. Yeah, he was probably 6'3".
And was he tipsy? Like, how tipsy did he look?
I don't know, bro, but I was like, why is this guy? I thought he stole the plant. That's why I remember him. I was like, did he steal the plant?
He genuinely asked the guy. I think he was so sincere when he asked him, "Yo, have you seen him? Like, I'm looking for him."
He was really looking for him. He's like, he was in my TV, and now he's in the street, right? That's how it works. That's what happens, right? When you've had too many beers, that's what happens. Anyways, hopefully there will be many more Coactuses, many more The Shots, many more,
They need to reunion these two. They need to get him to Kawhi and hand him that plant. That needs to
honestly, I think Kawhi needs a restraining order. I'm being honest.
Oh, okay.
I'm good. I'm sure Coactus guy is very, very sensible when he's sober. Blue Week said some people get a little violent when they get drunk. That is true. I, on the other hand, start telling people that I love them when I get drunk.
Yeah, some people, alcohol is truth serum.
I'm very honest. I love people. How are you like when you get drunk?
I don't drink, so I wouldn't know.
Ever?
Ever.
You've never drank?
Nope.
Amazing. Congratulations.
But my brother drinks, and it's truth serum.
How does he get?
He truth serum. He will tell you what you did to him 7 years ago he didn't like. Unsolicited.
Absolutely. I'm a little bit like that too.
Yeah.
I shared this on a members live the other day that the last time I was at my friend's birthday, I told off a girl who was dating my friend because I thought she was a hoe in front of 40 people.
It's very uncomfortable because these people who just pour their hearts out when they're drunk.
Mm-hmm.
They tell you things you shouldn't know. You almost tell them, stop talking, please. Stop.
You should get new floss.
Yeah.
Your floss is expired.
Yeah. They tell you
Stuff
things.
like that, or like tough truths, like I don't think mom ever loved us. Like stuff like that.
Things they won't remember they revealed. You have to keep it to yourself and not tell them they said it. It's just weird.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
That's
and if
bad.
other people are around, you basically have to drag them out of there.
Honestly, that's true. I never thought about that, but you know what? You're right. I have been around drunk people when I'm very, very sober, and they absolutely reveal shit to me. This one girl, she said to me, "I've been in love with you for 15 years," and the next time I met her, I had to pretend she never said that.
Yeah.
That is very interesting. You're right. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah. It's like
That's why they drink though.
I honestly I think some people drink to take the edge off. I think some people drink because, you know, they genuinely enjoy the taste. I don't know. I really don't.
A lot of people I know drink just to loosen up and do things they would never do otherwise.
Yes, you're right. Like some people are just in their heads, right? And they have like a sort of uptightness. Like there's a fear factor of like, well, what if I say this and then they say this? And there's like an overthinking element of it. And I feel like when people drink a little bit, they kind of stop thinking about that stuff too much. Maybe that's part of it. Bueno Kitty gifting 5 Pensare Basketball memberships. You're the GOAT. Thank you very much. Very much appreciate it. And the trade poll, I believe, is over at this point. A has won it. It's a final between A and B. No, A has won it. 47% A, 44% B. There we go. And Elliot Roberts said, sober thoughts are drunken actions. I got to think about that for a second. Sober thoughts are drunken actions. Does anyone know how to make sense of this? Because I feel stupid right now. Okay.
Basically,
sober.
what you think you would.
Oh, okay.
Not what
So
to
what?
say.
Okay, so sober repressed thoughts are
Yeah.
drunken actions. So repressed sober thoughts are drunken actions. That's dangerous. That's dangerous.
By the way, according to Shams, the Timberwolves and Pistons were seriously trying to get in on that.
Yep, we know that. Yeah, that was reported earlier. Once again, thank you, Bueno Kitty. Appreciate you very, very much, and thanks, Justin Stewart. I'm pretty sure we got like between member chats and super chats and shit and views, 20,000 views on this view. 20,000 views on this video. We got about close to 30-ish likes. Thank you guys, man. This is one of our most successful videos ever. It's one of the most awesome, monumental, game-changing days in Raptors history. It's pretty cool. Hopefully the Raptors make a move in free agency or trade. You know, that can't be mad at a trade. But definitely, you know, at some point, expect tonight the Raptors are going to make their first move. And maybe like tomorrow, we see the free agent market, see who's left, see who's available. Guys like Mo Wagner, you know, guys like, there's a lot of guys. There's a specific type of player the Raptors need for sure. This is your bull run for YouTube. It is almost impossible for me to fathom getting 35 to 40,000 views on this channel on basically lives alone over 3 days. That feels very unlikely. So that's awesome. This is definitely a bull run. This is my crypto. This is my, I don't know. This is my SanDisk run. To anyone who gets that reference, shout outs to you.
Oh, that thing shot up. Ooh, boy.
That's crazy. Yeah. It went from like, it went from basically nothing to $2,000 a share. It's
Oh,
crazy.
if you were in that.
Did you catch it?
I didn't hop on. No.
What are you investing in right now?
So me, I have like 2 retirement accounts, but mainly I invest in trading card games. And
Trading card games?
Yeah, I'm doing well right now, Rob. I'm doing well.
Did you say trading card games?
Yes.
Explain this to me. Trading card games. What is this?
Pokemon.
You invest in Pokemon cards?
Yes.
Dope. I don't know enough about this. That's cool. Like it was like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I started like, and again, this might turn out to be a very dumb sentimental investment, but I ended up buying a whole bunch of like N64 case cartridges, with boxes. I don't know. It's pretty cool.
The whole collectible space is just been booming the past like 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking for like some Dreamcast games and shit. Because I mean, like, I don't know. A part of me is like, okay, it holds value. I can't say it's guaranteed to hold value better than cash, but it's not like guaranteed to do worse than cash, right? So, like, I don't know. I have a lot of like vintage video games now. Yeah,
And I think Gen Z they're more into physical mediums now.
I'm into physical media.
Yeah,
Very into physical media.
Like rental. There's a boom in like rental stores.
Rental stores.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I think there's one Blockbuster left.
Yeah,
I think in the US, and bro, they're doing very well. People travel all over the country to go there.
Facts.
Yeah,
Big facts.
it's because the whole streaming everything, never physically owning anything, it's just weird. And our generation knows about it. We've had VHSs, we've had cartridges, we've had
Yep.
CDs, so we know about that. So our need to have
You
it.
ever have Betamax?
Huh?
You ever have Betamax and VCDs? You never touched the VCD?
A VCD.
You ever touched the HD DVD, my guy?
An HD DVD. Yeah. I wasn't a big fan of like, and then Blu-rays came out.
Honestly, it's always porn, bro. Corn always chooses the way.
I
So when
remember,
it was Betamax versus DVD, or Betamax versus VHS, right? When it was VCD versus DVD, when it was HD DVD versus Blu-ray, it always came down to that. But I will say, I think Xbox really fucked up by not including the HD DVD player as a native like implementation into the Xbox 360. I truly believe that they fucked over that entire platform. I will say this though, I prefer HD DVD. I don't know why, but I watched King Kong and Batman Begins on HD DVD, and it has trumped my Blu-ray experience by far.
yeah. So you're saying the 360 you couldn't put movies in it. But
No, you had to buy an additional add-on to
Yeah.
your 360.
But the PlayStation you could.
But the PlayStation came built in. So
Yes.
the PS2, so the Dreamcast also ironically fucked up because they didn't include a DVD player native. But when the PS2 came out, you could play DVDs in it. Now DVDs were $200. So now you're like, DVD players were $200. So you're like, so I could buy a PS2 for $300. I can satisfy my need for not only a video game console, but I can also satisfy my need for a DVD player. Shout outs, 2-in-1, right? So Tariq saying Dean Wade to the Philadelphia 76ers. Oh man.
Man, the Sixers are just going to try to make it work. They should just trade Embiid, honestly. I don't know who to want him, but he's just the elephant in the room in that organization where they just have to tippy-toe around him.
I mean,
he's
sure.
untradeable. I mean, essentially.
He's got what, 2 years left?
That extension was so crazy that they gave him. Absolutely no reason to do it the time they did. It's on par with the Jakob Poeltl trade. Who told you to do it? You could have waited.
It was after the MVP season, no?
No, it was after.
Honestly, I'm just gonna say this. I think this is the worst account on Raptors X right here. This guy, he is the worst. He is the dumbest. I've never heard him say a positive thing in my life that's remotely coherent, accurate at all. I mean, on one sense, I actually started to admire the guy. Because if I was as bad as what he does, I would have quit. But he is persistent as fuck to get out as many bad takes per hour, per day, make videos for 12 people. Shout outs to him, man. Bobby Webster is not an absolute idiot. He got put in a very, very bad situation with a team that he didn't want to deal with in the first place to get an all-time great player. That's what happened. And the idea that the Raptors were competing against no one is not true necessarily.
people need to understand the market and what other players went for. Like this is a very highly and you say this too, but I'm a football fan as well, soccer, but like the price tag on some of these players today, like Anthony Gordon for 80 million. I don't know if you know who he is, but like 80 million is what Cristiano Ronaldo went for 10, 15 years ago.
I mean, is that just natural inflation, or are we talking like just
No,
salaries
it's
have gone up?
inflation in general, and just like the viewership went up in the sport, so people are willing to pay more for players. Like some of the best talents in the sport they have like release clauses of $1 billion. Like this is what NBA players would have if there was no salary cap. Like some of these players, like Wembanyama, like people are like people think that he wouldn't have $1 billion release clause. Like he definitely would if there was no salary cap. And last 2 years, what did Bane go for? What did Mikal Bridges go for? What did LaMelo go for?
Right. And it's just like, I think you have to also play out the scenario. What would Kawhi go for if you roll past 6 p.m.?
They're younger, they have more years, but they've also haven't done what Kawhi has done in the past. They're banking on LaMelo being a player that he isn't today. That's why they traded for him. That's why they gave him all that money and all that trust. Like that's why Orlando traded for Bane, and it kind of failed. Like, I don't know if that's coaching, but like
big facts for sure.
Like they're banking him to be a guy that he's never been for, and that's why they traded all those picks and it failed. Why? I think it's less risky. Like we'd have to give up a lot more for Jaylen Brown. People need to understand that.
We
like
would
a lot more.
We would have
given up a lot more for Jaylen Brown.
Yeah. They want 4 picks.
Yeah, I think what he's saying is the Celtics would want more than the Clippers would want.
Yeah.
But the Raptors aren't going to do it.
Exactly.
I understand that the casual fan would be very excited about a 29, 30-year-old Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is nowhere near the player Kawhi is.
Not even close.
He's not the defender. He's not the offensive player. He's not the shooter. He's not the player. Impact.
They're going to sell you on the potential. They're going to say he just made All-NBA first.
I
They're
don't
going to
care.
say that he has multiple
He didn't make
years.
All-NBA first. He made All-NBA second.
Well,
Didn't
okay,
he?
second. I think second or borderline first.
So
They're
did
going to say
Kawhi.
he averaged 30. He has 5-6
Oh,
years
we're-
left. They're going
I
to do
don't
that.
care. But he's a Twitch athlete who has shaky jump shot, shaky handle, shaky decision making. I don't trust that.
And
give me Jason Tatum. You give me Jason Tatum, even coming off an Achilles tear, I'll happily give you all the picks you want. The gap is big.
No, but I'm saying, like, if you're hating on the Kawhi deal, who else is available? What would you have to give up for him?
I think the concept here is you didn't need to make a deal. You could have just slow played this out, and you could have probably just rolled it out in the East next year, played your odds, been a 6th seed, 5th seed, grown organically, seen Brandon Ingram as an expiring contract next year, and then made a decision next year. I think the Toronto Raptors made a bet on the present because they think Scotty Barnes is ready to compete for championships right now. That's it. They think Scotty is ready to compete for championships right now, and I really hope they're right. I really do. And obviously, he's my favorite player, meeting up with one of my favorite players of all time. Yo, I'm excited. I would have been super excited a few years ago if the Raptors had traded Pascal Siakam for fucking Kevin Durant. I would have been super excited about that because once again, that would be basketball making sense. You need shooters around Scotty Barnes. You need defenders around Scotty Barnes. Right? It's a perfect. Kawhi's a really good fit next to Scotty, man. It's a great fit. Anyways,
these X fans, right? This is the last point. These X fans and these Raptors haters that are saying this is a bad move, I think they would not allow Bobby to go another season without doing anything, just based on what happened this offseason of Giannis going, LaMelo going, all these other guys going, and them seeing the Raptors fight for like Game 7 against Cleveland and not do anything. Like, they wouldn't accept that. And that's why they're hating on this move, because they wanted, well, I mean, the reporting was what, 1 pick? They weren't willing to get 1 pick, and what did we end up giving?
Yeah, but those false reporting, those all come from the Clippers side because they wanted to win the headlines. You don't understand how this organization works. They win the headlines. So they won the James Harden trade, headline. They won the Ivica Zubac trade, headline. And now they've won the Kawhi trade, headline. They won all the headlines. Why? Because they dominate all the leaks. This is why nobody wants to do business with this stupid-ass franchise. They dominate all the leaks. they leak out lowball offers, and then they come out and then they say, oh, look, we got way more than the alleged offer, so we hoodwinked them. I don't like Lawrence Frank. I don't like Steve Ballmer. This is how big tech operates. I just don't like it.
They're not any closer to a championship anytime soon.
They're not supposed to be. Yeah, they're not supposed to be. They're trying to rebuild. Anyways, any final thoughts, guys? That's 4K. More, Coach Mo.
No, I'm good, man.
Yeah,
you.
we good. All right,
See
man.
you
Nice to hear
Summer
from
League.
you as always. See you in Summer League. Absolutely. That's 4K. Peace, man. All right. We here. We're loud. The pizza's on the way. It's about to come. There's no way I'm eating a pizza on a live stream. But I will say this. Thank you all for all of you supporting us. It's been a long, long, long stream. We started this with news that Kawhi Leonard is here. 2027, 2029, gone. 2030 swap. Brett Siegel, fuck. And we amend to 2031, 2033 swap. Second round picks. 2027. Sorry. 2031, 2033 unprotected, allegedly. And 2027 swap. Kawhi comes to Toronto. Grady and RJ Barrett. Sorry, Grady and Brandon Ingram go to LA. I wish our Raptors good luck. Okay. Someone said pizza from where? Why would I give the pizza place that I ordered from free promo? They're not giving me a discount. Actually, they did give me a 40% discount. But I'm going to say this. It is a pizza. Are you insane? Are you mad? Are you insane? That's not pizza. That's not real pizza. I don't care if you think that's real pizza. That's not real pizza. That's paper. That's not real. What? You got to lift. Kawhi is back. That is literally what I looked like when Kawhi Leonard left Toronto. We got to get back to that. Okay. 377 people. I appreciate y'all for sticking with us. It's 11 p.m. We've been streaming for 7 hours. It's crazy. Stardeep said, you look like the girl who was smiling with the burning house. Do you not know what my background is? It's literally my background. This is me. This is the female version of me. Anyways, I think presser is tomorrow, dude. It's either tomorrow or the next day, but either way, Kawhi gonna land in Toronto. We're gonna talk. We're gonna listen to the media. We're gonna react to it. We're gonna be excited about it. But yes, creepy child, and I would like to wish you a very, very beautiful night. Kawhi is part of Toronto. Love it. And best part of the stream, pizza. It's the worst pizza in the world was the best part of the stream. I appreciate it. Are they allowed to talk about the trade? They will talk about the trade when the league office approves it. Anyways, 7 hours, 5 minutes. Yikes. The last hour of this was just basically chatting, but I appreciate y'all very, very much. Appreciate y'all spending this night with me. This is it's very weird to me personally because on the real, first of all, it's a heat wave. I'm sweating. I can't wait to get out of this room. But I would have spent this day talking to my friends. In a normal setting, if I was not a podcaster, if I was not doing this, Pensare Basketball didn't exist, please PC didn't exist, I'll probably spend tonight going over to a friend's house, partying, drinking some beers. But I did that with y'all. So that was pretty cool. So I appreciate y'all sticking out with me. And 500, 800, 15,000, 18,000, however many people were in here. I appreciate you guys very, very much. To the people who stuck with us till the end. We already started our second beer. We're gonna go get our third beer. And hopefully I'm good. I'm good tomorrow. I'll catch y'all on the panel and we'll see. If there's any Raptors news that breaks in the next 2 hours, I'll definitely go live and talk about it. But if not, more than likely we're gonna talk again tomorrow. Have a good day, y'all. We got Kawhi Leonard. It's a pretty good day. Peace. And yes, Stardeem, you are correct. Phoenix plays that when the EPM said I was today years old when I found out IQ and Jaylen Brown had the same EPN. Dude, I've been telling y'all, Jaylen Brown is massively overrated. I think he's overrated. And I think Emmanuel Quickley's a little bit underrated. neither one of the players are like the second option you need next to Scotty Barnes. The gap between Jaylen Brown and Kawhi Leonard is the gap between Pluto and Mars. Okay, it's big. All right, talk to y'all later. Peace.